Sound check, mic check. All right. Into the close. 20 or 19 minutes before the bell rings. This is my what they call going out of 2021 market value, that is, with the bang, right? All right. So, I want to put something on wax, right? Put something on wax going into 2022, leaving out of 2021. First and foremost, giving, all the accolades and the salutations to all the, the wonderful people who, number one, supported this channel, who support myself in general, because obviously I in turn support you. You guys know me, right? I'm definitely your friendly neighborhood, stock guy, right? In that regard. So I like, just, and showing and sharing in the information. So I'm definitely privileged to be here and happy to share this with you guys. Nothing shorter than a spectacular year in 2021, as far as the markets, that is, I should say, because again, even looking back in 2020, as a whole, right, dealing with the pandemic, which we're still dealing with, that it's an endemic perspective. Again, it's been nothing shorter than amazing. We saw a lot of things, transform right before our very eyes, and just seeing just the nature of how markets really respect chaotic situations in a way where it is shown to be Teflon done, right? Markets can do no wrong, right? Again, catering to the wealthy, right, or those who own assets, right? So that secret is out the bag now. If it haven't been already, there's no need to try to fight that. America's definitely going to take care of those who feed its system, right? So with that being said, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace, power, and profit to you all, wherever you are in your neck of the woods, on this planet, on this rock. Again, salutations to you all. Appreciate you guys for being awesome patrons to this channel. To the overall community of investors and traders out there, period. It's a global community in respect, because again, it's not a competitive environment. It's just us against the market. So we're very humbled and privileged people to acquire such a skill set as this, and then go out there and perform with it, right? So shout out to everybody who's been patient with themselves and learning this and sharing it with others, so they can be more accustomed to the ideal of wanting to learn this. It only gets better in 2022, right? So it's the thing where, we want to make sure we say it loud, right? Say it loud and proud. Pay it forward in 2022, right? Pay it forward in 2022, right? That's the energy going forward. So again, we thank you all. I know some of you guys are already, deep into your partying, well into the new year. So of course, this is an impromptu kind of live stream, no kind of, really, letting anyone know I'm going to do anything. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys who were able to kind of come through and share a little love today. So again, shout out to everybody who's in out there enjoying life, I should say. All right. And so this is just my what they call end of the year salutation broadcast, so I can have something, on the books as a closing of sort for us, the markets, right? So again, about near 15 minutes before the bell ring here, S&P 500 is, of course, doing what it does best, right? It's trying to stay alive, right? Markets are pretty much flat for the day. Just pretty much a basic theta burn day, right? The average, let's say the markets, we ain't really got nothing good to offer, right? So what we'll do, we'll just save the market from just tanking, drastically, and we'll let the chips fall as they may, and let that be the end of the story. So basically what we got today in the stock market is just, the market, again, playing a game of stalemate, right? It's just a stalemate, zero-sum game reality. Again, you got a couple little, end of the day pushes here above the VWAP, where it kind of got above the VWAP, as you see here clearly, and now it's trying to establish a new support point at that point. Of course, yesterday's closing price sitting at 476 and change 15, it's trying to stay above that, right? Because of course that's a bullish algorithm type of pivot point that they can feed off of, in terms of a green day coming out of the previous day, right? When we're talking about notching records, so to speak, right? This is their push right now. So I'm pretty sure you're going to try to get a nice little push here in the end of the day, again, after the market being flat all day, right? Yeah, go figure, right? Just crazy, right? It's basic algorithms trading the market. We know that, right? It's no secret there at this point. We know that the algorithm got the market pretty much in a chokehold, no more, no less, right? We're seeing the adverse effect to that, where there's low volume melt up, even when the market's not really going, up, but it's above what we consider to be, major pivot points, moving averages, yesterday's closing price, et cetera, right? The tape is always going to perform. All right. So one asset actually that is not doing that is, again, we already know that we're in the end of the tax loss harvesting season. Value of that, I mean, it's like barbecue meal at this point. Sell your winners, sell some of your losers, right? Take some profit, not rearrange, reorganize, do all that. And that's AMC. AMC right now is definitely kicking that and bucking that trend. And it's doing the opposite. It's heading downtown, right? It is definitely heading downtown where the gangsters live, right? That old school song, right? Headed downtown where the gangsters live. So the apes ain't feeling so apish right now. They're definitely selling. And so I guess they didn't get the memo, right? That apes are strong and it's supposed to hold, like none other, and whatever. But as you see, I've even got alerts popping up. I had my alert set. It's breaking through my alerts. Of course, just for transparency, I do have a short position in AMC. I've been short ever since, around about 29, 30-ish area. Going into next week, actually, these are contracts that expire next week, right? So I wanted to play into this potential, weakness that I was seeing in AMC, obviously here in terms of the chart, in terms of the volume value of the apes starting to fleet a little bit, because they're trying to think in terms of, do I take profits that do I have now? It don't seem like we're going to get the MOAS bounce like we thought was going to get like right away. Maybe I can get it, at a more better, cost basis, because I might be in at $40 a share, $50 a share. There's some, traders up there, still sitting at 60 up there near 70. And they've been told to hold, right? They've been getting advice to hold, and don't listen to all the people out there telling them to sell and all this. Of course, it's not a loss until you sell, but nonetheless, we don't make emotional decisions, right? This is not a game of emotional decision, right? Decisions. You have to realize, how markets work so you can have the best bang for your buck position set up, right? So as of now, the bears are definitely, putting some fear in the minds of some of these bullish, ape. I'm not gonna call them bullish. They're apes, right? They pretty much differentiated themselves from being an ape or a bull, right? I should say, and they're considering themselves apes. So we'll see, how well they fare going into 2022. But as of now, we're definitely seeing a pullback here, and this is on the hourly chart. So of course, it's just a day and a half worth of downside, trade. As you see, the red candles are not they're not hard to realize that someone is selling something, right? Someone is selling something here, as you see here, going to the close here, and it's it's selling off into the close. It's not like it's catching a bid here on the back end of the market here. Literally about 12 minutes before the bell rings, it's selling off into the close, right? As you see, it's still going lower, and of course my puts are banging, right? I have no no qualms with those babies. They're definitely printing right now, and I look forward to having maybe a little bit more continuation into next week, right? Because the box office value in this, the fundamental story that the apes do not, survive this stock or this asset by, is none and void, is null at this point. They can't use it, under the banner that, we're not a fundamental story. This is deeper than that. We're technical traders. Well, you can't also say that, we had a box office smash at AMC. Oh man, we doing it now. You can't have it both ways. So I think a lot of the apes in this stock are starting to realize that now, that they've been listening to a lot of people on YouTube, these people pumping the stock, all that stuff, and they're giving them mixed signals. They don't know whether to hold because it's a fundamental turnaround story, or it's just the fact that they're just trying to take it to the soups, right? But nonetheless, the stock is not, responding well, because there is what they call a dissension in between the ranks of within Wall Street bets. That is the apes that are out there still holding on to this stock. So shout out to them regardless. They try to do what they can do under the conditions, and again, peace be, as they say, peace be upon them, right? Peace be unto them. And again, I'm the type of person where, what, it's all fair, love, and war in terms of market value. So if they can make something out of this, so be it, right? But just be cautious, guys. Don't never invest with your emotions, right? Never invest with your emotions. I obviously have a plan to stick to it. All right, so shout out to the apes out there. All right, what's going on, Philip Ramirez? Seven Heavens in the building. Peace, power, private over Chris in the house. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Chris Woods in the building. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Brother Matt is in the building as well. Peace, power, profit to you as well today, Ober. Happy to have you guys here. Again, I know you guys out there busy. We're going to the end of the year. The market's starting to pull back now. So now we're starting to see that flush. Now here comes the flush. Here comes the flush. So let me get this on screen real quick so you guys can see that. Here comes the flush in the S&P 500 as a, it was just basically playing, I guess playing dead, right? Playing possum, as they say, right? And now you're having that flush until the close here, where it's like, okay, now the algos are flipped to the what? The sell side. The algos are flipped to the sell side, and you're starting to see this flush here into the close. Now, it was acting like it wanted to break and go higher, as I was just talking about earlier, how I was sitting up above the VWAP here, playing above that yesterday's closing price and trying to kind of show bulls that, we're going to look good going into 2022. But apparently somebody didn't get the memo as well on the SP 500, and it waited all day to give up this move here after just going sideways all day, killing the theta, within bulls and bear sides, right? If you were just buying premium outright, you saw an ugly day if you weren't already in at better prices, right? Meaning at that peak point of profitability, leading into this day. Even though you still had some theta burn, I was one of those guys. I made profit though, but it wasn't much as I could have got. Obviously, if I'd have sold early, when we had that first flash down early in the morning around about 10 o'clock to 470, 491, I was thinking, okay, maybe we're going to bounce. We're going to get that bounce, and then we'll kind of roll back over. I got a little bit excited here. I thought, here's our moment to kind of get up out of it. And I actually was able to sell at least one of my contracts here. I had 4 going into today. All right. And, after I saw, they was kind of holding it there, pinning it around 475. They was not looking to let it break there. I had to relinquish at least a couple more, up and it'll at a point in the 20-day moving average here. So, kind of breaking even, making a little profit on one of them. Obviously, in this case here, these two here was break even, so to speak. And hey, they made money, but it was breaking even far as the day value. I didn't make any more extra profit on those than I had made until swinging them into today. But nonetheless, that's markets, right? Again, you have to pay to play if you just obviously using it from this perspective of being able to kind of generate revenue as a day trader, quote unquote. This is the energy that you have to deal with, right? So good, bad, or indifferent. That's just the rules of the game, rules of engagement. So again, as you see here, 7 minutes before the bell, S&P 500 here is definitely showing a lot of, volatility here. I'm pretty sure the VIX is moving right now as well. And yeah, end of the year, sellers, right? Either gonna take profit or you're gonna hold into next year, deal with the tax, value under what Joe Biden, because next year Joe Biden's tax plan kick in. So if anybody's looking to kind of cash in on Trump's tax plan that's still left over from his presidency, this is the time to do that. And so smart people realize that. And that's what's probably happening a little bit. They kind of cleaning the register out a little bit here, saying, okay, whatever, we'll deal with all the other stuff later. As of now, man, look at that. They go AMC. AMC is definitely giving it up a little bit here, going to the close. They're at 27.20 right now as well. So yeah, this is the market, guys, into the close. This is interesting, but again, not far-fetched. What will be interesting to see if they let this thing fall below 475, right? They're doing everything in their power to pin this thing above 475, right? So whatever that's about, right? But we'll see. And the dip buyers are trying to show up. Of course they are, right? They're still, under the guise that this is the buy the dip culture. They refuse to accept the reality that markets are going to be kind of thinned out a little bit next year, even though we ended the year pretty strong in terms of some, strong data plots in relation to market strength, different sectors, whatever. It may not be the same next year, right? Of course, obviously, right? Because a lot of the liquidity is about to go by the Federal Reserve. That does not necessarily mean that they will not still be able to add value to markets, meaning stimulus, right? But yet and still, and knowing that, you still have to be cautious of that. And, hence today's conversation, right? How trusting are you of the Federal Reserve ability to stimulate markets into 2022, right? Because that's going to be paramount, right? It's going to be paramount to how you set up your. So we finally broke below 475. We're at 474, 99, 97 here, 94. Okay, so as we're speaking, as you see, the market is giving up the ghost a little bit here on the back of the day. Again, that last 10 minutes, I like to tell people that last 15, 10-minute window is like powerful. And so this is the time I typically start, buying me a little, position, for the next week, right? Depending on the sentiment and aspects of where we are in terms of calendar values, economic data points. And in this case, this is the end of the year scenario. Like I said, people are selling stocks. They're rebalancing. They're taking profit. They understand that the tax bill a provision of Trump is getting ready to come to an end. They're selling some of their losers. Of course, tax loss harvesting, all those things, and then some, right? So you have the whole shebang happening right now before your very eyes. You see the SP 500 here. Definitely go for the juggernaut, for the juggler here. All right. No secret that they waited all day to dump this thing. And now SP 500 here, clearly here. Yeah, man, yeah, we starting to pick up a little volume here on the back end here. So we'll see if they can keep that, keep that ride until the always, to the very end, right to the bell. So only down about 0.25% though. That's what's crazy, right? Seems like it's more, but it's not. It's only 0.25%. And for what it's worth, it's gonna move around a little bit, of course, within that. But hey, it seems a lot worse than it really is. Just looking at it from the pre-market here, where we kind of hit 474 some change down here, 474.70 is whatever, and we've yet to even take out the pre-market low. We have yet to take out the pre-market low. So what does that really say? Well, it just says that this is market doing what they typically do, right? This is what they do, right? They talk a good game, but they walk a different one, right? They walk a different one, right? Because the algos definitely has the market kind of in an influx here. Again, AMC is, as you see, is just dipping. It's tipping over right now. No saving it. Tesla definitely rolling over here in the end of the day. I don't know what that's about, but I do know what it's about. A little bit has to do with that recall scenario, but also people taking profit too. Because again, Tesla over the year has been short of stellar. And even though you like the stock long term, some people saying, let me ring the register, let me lock in some of these gains at a better tax rate potentially than that what I probably get from the next president scenario when it kicks in. So there's a lot of different things that goes on in traders' mind as time progresses. So it's not far-fetched to realize that this is basically what you're getting even with Tesla, right? So yeah, the markets are looking very, very finicky here into the close. Let me see if I can pull up a couple other charts. Just we can look at a few of them going into the close here. But yeah, this is your market, right? As they say, this is your market headed into the close, right? Yeah, that part, right? So let me get out of here and go here. So as you can see here, yeah, this is what we look like here, guys. This is the small cap run of the day is NTRB, neutral band. Pretty sure y'all saw that. Tesla again, here we go, 1054, 1055 area here. AMC down to 2716. So the AMC apes right now are definitely showing that they're not diamond handed. They're wet toilet tissue handed, right? No swipe at my ape buddies out there, because I know y'all personal with this thing. You're emotional about it sometimes, but again, that's why you never invest with your emotions, right? Learn how to laugh and smile about this stuff a little bit too, because being overly uptight makes you make a lot of careless decisions at times. Not to say that you are, but if that's what you're standing on for, this is your thesis, then you got to learn how to live with it in the same breath, right? Because markets are not in the exact science. So that's just the gist of this. So again, about 1 minute here before the bell here, guess we are sitting at 359 here, and the market's definitely still below that 475 window. So we'll see if they continuously try to keep this thing underneath 475 going into the close. If that happens, guys, I would say, possibly, Monday may be a little weak, right? Monday may be a little weak. And that being, if we can take out definitely pre-market lows around that 470, 450, 60 area, it's trying. It's definitely trying. Literally, we got seconds here before the bell here, about 30 seconds before the bell rings to be exact. AMC starting to fall to a little bit again, still sitting at 27.18. If they can close above 27, maybe bulls will say that's a win. I don't know. Right, any little psychological victory happens. There we go. Now we're starting to break below the pre-market low. Now, okay, 10 seconds before the bell, 10 seconds before the bell. Let's see if they could do that. 10 seconds, 7 seconds, 4, 5, 3, right? 2, 1. And there's the bell, guys. Let's see where we're at. 474. Yeah, there we go. That's some algos. See, there it is. And there goes the algos. Man, I tell you, this market is such it's weird. All I can say is a greedy environment out there, guys, where taking the L is just not a part of the lexicon of the Wall Street bullish community of buy the dippers. Of course, I'm one of them because I got long-term position out there too. But as a day trader, I do realize that the algos do have this market jacked up and then some, because they're just running around, just causing all kind of mess in terms of people's being able to set up a decent thesis in terms of how they would trade the markets under normal conditions, right? With all this kind of extra machine value of trying to taking account of a bit of emotional value that an investor may have, investor sentiment essentially. But anyway, there it is, guys. So the market closes down at 4. What did they pin it at? I'm curious. We pinned it at, well, we hit the low of 474.67. So the low was 474.67, right? We didn't end there, but that's what we hit and falls to low. So we did potentially take out the pre-market low during the intraday session. Now, closing there would be something different. We did not, right? So we understand that at this regard, now that the market is kind of snapping back and the algos, people took profit, obviously. Shorts covered their position. That's why you had this kind of flash, green counter back up to the upside. No more, no less. That's basically all it is. People covered their short, their options, the short positions, and then you had this kind of short squeeze back to kind of, account for all the new shares coming back into the tape. So again, nothing new there. All right. So, but that's it, guys. So that's what your market looks like here. Again, Tesla closed down. I'm starting to get a little bounce on the back end. So 1,055 was the kind of pinpoint for the, for Tesla. AMC definitely around that, close to 2720 area. As you see, this chart looked very crazy. Moderna kind of ended up, on the day bullish, barely, by about 3 points and change, near 4 points here after coming as low as 246 and rallying back throughout the day. Pfizer was up definitely on the good news about its antiviral COVID pill. And then it kind of rolled over at the end of the day, gave back some of its gains, basically, a good portion of the momentum that was coming out, trying to break above 60. That failed up here miserably, of course, and rolled back down near $59. So that's that. Again, there's others too, of course, Facebook, Boeing ended up, down about $1.04. $1.40 that is. Beyond Meat, $1.79. Of course, Novavax vaccine plays down $11. Apple down 62 cents. That makes sense, right? That's their beloved save the market stock there. That's their bread and butter is Apple, right? So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people buying calls and at the end of the day for Apple to kind of pump it up Monday. That's the hustle that they've been doing. They buy a lot of call contracts for Apple literally right before the bell rings. That way they're safe going into the weekend, so they can kind of keep momentum going into the next day, so they can ride it up maybe 9:30. We'll see if that happens, but we can also check that on a bar chart and see if that's relevant or not. But yeah, so yeah, that's the market, guys. So crazy day. Nonetheless, and the market's just doing what they do, right? So that was your 2021 market. Now we still have a couple hours before the market completely shuts down at 8 p.m. So everything that happens now in the after hour session will be one or two things, because the market is very weird right now. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm turning off my computer, I'm done for the day. That was just a whole lot of BS, and I'm done. What they fail to realize is that you still have up until 8 p.m. to sell any of your losers. You have up until 8 p.m. to sell any of your losers. So if you see any abnormal selling or radical buying within the next 4 hours here and change, 3 hours and change here, guess what? That's people trying to wait to see if everybody else is kind of going tip the scale first, either up or down, right? Either up or down, right? So make sure you guys are aware of that. So if you are going to cut your stuff off and go party like you should, but keep your notifications near you too, especially if you got some position out there you might be thinking about taking or wanting to monitor. The markets are not done quite yet, right? So we'll see if there's any kind of weird selling or buying here within the next 3 hours and change of the after hour extended session. All right, so yeah, so guys, that's your market, guys. 2021 is almost officially in the books, and I say almost because we do have that after hour session. What's going on, family? Ross Shoe, I see you in the building. Over Brandon Jimerson in the building. What's going on, our resident hospital? Hold down the door as always. Thank you to have thank you, and happy to have you guys here, I should say. Anybody may be paying attention on the YouTube side, Facebook side, or the Twitter side. Again, I do appreciate you guys' patronage and being a supporter of this channel. Again, we've been growing, at our own little pace, and we're just trying to continuously have a place where people can come here and kick the shoes off, put on their thinking caps, and come up with an ideal or a plan or a strategy to make, basically make it make sense, right? Dollars and cents, that is, right? That's what we all about here in this community university, as we like to say, in this little spectrum. So thank you all for being supporters of the channel once again. A great year in terms of 2021 for us, the market value, the knowledge that we gained from it, what we will definitely take into 2022 because we've been stewards of good information, primary sources. removing the emotion equation away from our analytical perspective and moving and thinking like CEOs, like we were born to be, right? You guys are all executives, right? In your own right. Don't let them people tell you different, right? Whether you reckon with $1,000, $100, $10, a dollar, right? Or thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions, nonetheless, it's all relevant to your growth and understanding that, guess what? Any day in the stock market could be an opportunity where you can go from 0 to 60, right? So that's what makes you unique, because you're not sitting there riding the clock, riding somebody else's dream, waiting for them to give you a raise alone, when you can go out there and force the world to give you the raise that you deserve by using these asset classes. Make sense? All right. So with that being said, we're going to open this thing up right away. Then we're going to let the family come in and share some of their ideas going into next year. And, have a little conversation, a little, champagne, right? Your vegan champagne toast at the end of 2021. And we'll just, get on out of here and get out your guys' hair. So with that being said, the market mania is still alive. So vibes, guys, vibes. All right. Vibes, right? Market mania, right? Dub that one called market mania, vibes. Because that's definitely what we have witnessed, I should say, in 2021, right? It's just a whole lot of everything. So let me get the link here, guys. So if you guys are able to come on, if you want to kind of kick it with your brother, with your brother a little bit here, closing out a little bit here. Let me share this with the family here. We're welcome to have you here. Again, talking about a little bit of in and everything if you want to, right? Let your hair down, let your feet down, whatever, right? So if you're sitting up all day, of course, in the chair, kick back, I should say. All right. But there's the link, guys, if you want to come on and, speak your speech and share with the fam and have a little fun and, do what we do best, right? Talk stocks, right? Talks, power and money, right? Opportunity, strategy, right? The whole nine. We welcome you guys to the bill here. We welcome you guys to the channel. We welcome you guys to the movement, I should say, because that's what this what it's really about, right? It's really about the movement, right? Again, we are the vanguard, so to speak, right, of this this growth aperture that we're dealing with every day in terms of the financial markets. And for a lot of people who have yet to take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and really submit themselves to be inside of such a craft like this, I think right now it's almost a given to not sit on the sidelines and just miss out on all this growth and opportunity. All right. And just learning it, I should say, right? Just learning this in and itself is phenomenal, right? Because it's a skill set that can follow you for the rest of your life. That doesn't require recertification, none of that stuff. Higher learning education, there is required none of that stuff. You don't have to go, into debt to figure out how to learn how to do this as well. If you just got some free time and the interest, to want to learn this, now I'm pretty sure you can learn this at a very, efficient level, right? So, the markets have been very rewarding for those who are patient, who have been patient with it. And we look forward to you guys realizing that, again, going forward into this year, 2022, the next year, that is. We haven't quite hit there quite yet, right? About 8 hours before that happens, right? Somewhere around there, give or take. But nonetheless, we want to look forward to, higher highs and potentially higher lows in the next year. And I'm saying that because of what? Our skill set, right? It's like an uptrend on your skill set, right? The uptrend on your skill set is that what? You want to be in a position to have what? Growth, right? When we say how you establish an uptrend, we establish an uptrend by what? It's higher lows, right? Every time you build a new floor and go higher, that's a form of growth, right? So shout out to 2022 as being a growth, a phenomenon of growth that we all are going to walk into. Why? Because we're built for this, right? So we're built for this. So shout out to everybody. So what's going on over Sunday? I see them popped in the building. Got Sunday the Short Squeeze King in the house. Shout out to you.
Hey, peace, King,
How's it
peace.
going? Hey, how's it going, bro?
Man, it's going lovely. I don't know. I just had a game plan. I know my plan is probably old, but I just had a different game plan on how I do it. And basically, like my checks that I've been using, I'm kind of off topic, but my checks that
No,
I've
you
been
on
using.
topic. This is market talk, bro. What you talking about? Man, don't you do it. I'm gonna tell you, don't you do it.
Well,
It's all about growth.
I just mapped out a percentage of I work. I got my own business, but I work at the same time and I hustle at the same time, right?
You're
So my
entrepreneur.
hustle, yeah, my hustling money is for the knickknacks, my habits and stuff like that, right? My everything I make as far as business goes solely straight back to the business on my Elon Musk, right? And
Gotcha.
then everything that I work for, I split that up. So I split that in fours. So the fours that I split it in, it goes back to the habits, it goes back to the savings, it goes back to the investments, and then the rest is just put to the side just in case something happens on any other thing. So I always do that every week. So every week I don't put nothing in the bank. It goes to the bank, goes straight to the market. When it goes to the market, it goes into a voluntary stock that I already see going up. So, say for instance, right now we got a big dip on a few things like Nordstrom's. We got a big dip on DD's. We have a big dip on BBO, right? So these companies are at a all-time low drop, right? And they have almost close, if not a billion, close to a billion in volatility. So the average of it going back up at least a couple dollars is high. So what I do is when I do put my money back into it, I put it into the things like that. So that way I still have some kind of uh percentage going up as I hold my money into the stock. So that's how I do it like every week, just something like that.
So perfecting your strategy. That's all. That's what the market does for people who have a hankering, I should say, and a hunger for growth and knowledge and expansion, right? Because again, it's about figuring out what works for you, right? As y'all know, one of my favorite saying is that what? Find your own niche or your own niche, but steal from everybody, right? Why wouldn't you, right? Because the game is definitely free if you learn how to source it properly, right? You just have to have the interest level. The interest level what keeps you, hungry and keeps you up, keeps you, seeking, it'll eventually begin to reveal to you certain ways you can come after this opportunity, right? And so, as a person, of course, in your growth story and your journey in this, you've been able to kind of definitely move a few mountains early on. Why? Because you have that hunger, that fire, that desire. And for what it's worth, you realize that this is a land that's unlike a lot of stuff you probably ever been in, on a day-to-day basis, where that any day I wake up, I can be, really in some some great lanes, right? Some great gains in the same breath. And it just requires you to be a student of the game and figure out ways to better suit your money, to better equip your money to go out there and fight for you financially in these asset markets, right? These asset streets, right? In the streets, right? We're from the streets.
Hey, it's a totally different feeling when you see you in the red, right? You having red days, like for people that know red days, green days, or whatever. You see you in the red, and then you wake up one day for the pre-market. You look at your account, and it's green, and it's so green you seeing zeros behind it. So that's the magic. And when you
Right.
see that, it makes you keep going. It makes you like this is real.
Right. Again, it pretty much does away with all the speculation of, because you hear people say that are very timid about the opportunity to learn how to invest in the stock market. They'll say, well, it's hard. It's only for, old white men, and it's complicated. It's gambling, right? We hear all the different, naysayers and conversations around it. What they fail to realize, like anything in life that has, to deal with a model, right? A module of you being able to understand the dynamics of it. Once you learn those things, you can better make more informed decisions, right? Like anything, right? That's all you're doing. You learn how to make more informed decisions, in this case, with your own capital, right? As opposed to allowing the job that one may have, the CEO and the people who make those decisions to kind of keep the company well, endowed and floating. Well, that stuff goes out the window. You become your own owner operator. What better feeling is that? And we talk about working with literally pennies on the dollar, sub pennies, right? Yeah, again, the stock's trading at a triple 10,000th of a penny right now. And of course, there's crypto trading at 10,000th of a penny right now. So, you're 100% right in exact in that regard that, you may, have a sublime day one day, the next day, the whole reality may flip and change for the better. You see what I'm saying? And again, on the job, you can have a bad day on the job because whatever odd reason, right? Somebody rubbed you the wrong way, just bad business on the day. Of course, you still get the pay that you desire to get if you on an hourly wage. But I mean, if you had to work twice as hard to kind of equate that of the bad decision making that happened within that office that day or wherever you were, you don't get no extra pay for that. You had to do that on the strength to just to have peace inside your work environment, right? You get no extra pay for that, right? Okay, yeah. In the stock market, you being able to kind of playing around the markets, and even moments when it may be bad, you can strategize and come around the next day, and guess what? Things be a whole new different ball game, right? Pay increase, everything like so you get a pay increase overnight, so to speak. So that's the energy, bro, and you get it. You're starting to really, foundate that into your strategies, and you're starting to realize that now. Okay, the more I play with this thing, the more I study it and come up with different ways to look at the market. It's going to only benefit you. Right. So that's what it's all about. So 2022, you got to tell yourself, because you're going to hear it, right? All up and down these social media sites. New year, right? New year, new me, right? New me, new year, all that stuff, right? Right. I'm gonna make a change, right? All that stuff, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay, all right. Yeah. The colloquial terminology that most people use because they love the social dynamic of saying it, that in this regard, it makes them feel good that they can say something of that stature, right? But without putting in work, then it's just there's a whole lot of conversation, right? For market participants, when we say something like that, we really truly really take it to heart. Why? Because the first thing you tell yourself, well, these are the rules of engagement. What are all the variables out there? How can I do better at eliminating the variables to put my capital in a better position to grow? So when we say new year, new me, we're definitely saying, oh yeah, we finna get a bigger bag because we're gonna be better at this and better at that. We're actually being practical. We're being applicable in those values as well. Right. So you already know going into 2022 over Sunday, it just in general, you're going to have a better year than you had in 2021. Why? Because the game teaches you and seasons you. Per every trade, you get better and better and better. Make sense? So that's your growth story, right? The game is going to treat you well and fine as long as you respect the rules of engagement and you just grow naturally in this in the way that you should. So that's why we get excited about the stock market. A lot of people like, yeah, man, that's all y'all talk about. It's about financial literacy as a whole, right? We just don't speak just stocks alone. Of course, we have Forex, crypto, options trading. We talk about other stuff, especially with our urban economic empowerment handle of this in terms of, how to find money, how to, be properly, balancing business management. I mean, a little bit of everything, right? Dun and Bradstreet, getting your business stuff sorted out, security. We do all that stuff. But ultimately, it's just about, getting one's, mind right, from a financial disposition. And the market just one tool that we use, and just one of the ones that's very fun, right? I mean, what's better than having fun and making money? I'll wait, right? So that's what we say: have fun, make money, right? Because that's what we endeavor, right? So again, that's the energy here. What's going on, Sister Sharon, right? Sister Sharon in the building, right? Family, Emil in the building as well. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in wherever you are on the rock of this planet. Thank you for tuning in, right? So 2021 coming to an end, right? The markets have shown to be something unique, right? Closing out the year, I think we're up about 27% on the year, give or take. We could probably go pull that up real quick and see, but just putting it out there in a paraphrase version. All right, we're up about 27%. Right, going back to the beginning of the year here. See, we kind of came into the year. We opened up at 375 is somewhere around there, and now we're sitting at 475. Look at that. I mean, you could make this stuff up, right? See, was that program? Did they program that? Did they know that in advance that was going to happen? The market gained a whole 100 points, in one calendar year. 100 points. Look at this. I ain't making this up. Numbers don't lie. We opened up at 375 for the month of January, and we're closing the month at 475, right? 475 and change. So basically a whole 100 points. Now look at this from a month-to-month perspective. How many red months did we have for the entire year of 2021? I'll wait.
Not that many. I think at the market, wasn't it? It was at its low was 10% that you made off the stock, and it was at its high was 30%.
At around that perspective, right? Give or take within that. Again, just looking at the chart you see I have on my screen here. Here lies the reality of this. I guess they say numbers don't lie. Now this is on the monthly chart too. So everything from January to today, this is what your market looked like. Now convince yourself, like, how's this? Number one, people from different sides, right? You got the bears, you got the bulls out there, you got people that's in between. But one thing we do know for sure is that the market has been nothing shorter than Teflon done, regardless of all the things that we dealt with in 2021, false economic news, geopolitical news, social dynamics, things of that nature. And the market just shrugged that stuff off, right? Hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it, right? Middle Eastern, Far East, tension, Russia, you name it. It shrugged it all off. And it gave you really no more than 3 bad months, the entire 12-month perspective. Make that make sense. See, this is the part where you show people like, hey, I'm not just talking. This is what the market did, right? Because we have an archive value here where we can take people to the charts and say, hey, this is what the market did. So again, 100 points in one full calendar year. 100 points. Now the question is, well, can we get 100 points going in the next year? Maybe. We don't know, right? That's what makes these things enigmatic. We know that there's a lot of different things coming down the pipeline that's different than what it was in 2021. And that's one of them is being what? A tightening of the spigot of the liquidity coming from the Federal Reserve, right? Tapering, interest rate hikes, all that, right? So yeah, we may have a little bit more what they call scrutiny for all the liquidity that came into the markets on the Fed side. And investors may have to fend for themselves a little bit better going into 2022, but they've already got a leg up going into the next year. See how that works? They set you up for success one way or the other. And that's just 2021. Now, if we take this back to 2022, then guess what? 2020 as a whole, I should say, then it's not even up for debate. Right? It ain't even up for debate, right? I'm putting in 31 so we have it correct there. Look at this. Like, here's your COVID low, obviously, right? We hit 218, right? 218 and change, somewhere around there, right? 218.26. That was your COVID low, meaning that's when the market completely bombed out, crash, call it what you want, flash crash, whatever, dump, whatever, tank, whatever. From 216.26 all the way to 475.16 as of right now, of course, somewhere around there, give or take. Now, look at this. Again, on the monthly chart. This is on a monthly chart. How many red days did you have in relation to that of what? Green days. Going back as far as January of 2020. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look on this one, you can't even count this one here almost. Look at right? 6, 1, 6, 7, 8. By 8 of those 24 months. 8 out of 24 months. I repeat, 8 out of 24 months. That means you're batting roughly around by 80%. 80%. That's an 80 percentile win rate of that of the market then pumped out in 2 years of trading, a pandemic, still tariffs still on the plate, still dealing with all this other stuff that we had for us, geopolitical tensions, Democrat, Republicans. I mean, you name it. Throw out your worst scenario that happened in the world over the past 24 months. And I'm gonna show you a stock market that struck most of it off as if it didn't happen. And Wall Street stayed what? Diligent and just what? Buying the dip. If you even look down on my RSI here, look at the RSI on the monthly chart. Everything above this line right here is considered to be overbought. That's like 70 on the RSI. So all this shaded gray right here, that's what you call overbought. The market just been overbought, basically going back as far as what? Basically April of 2021. Before that, it was just rebounding off what it lost during the COVID pullback, right? When we figured out we was dealing with the pandemic, it gained all that back and then went higher and been overbought ever since. Why? Because all this shaded gray here is liquidity by the Federal Reserve. It's liquidity by BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the ranks of international investors that came to our markets because their markets were getting taken out to the woodshed. They didn't want to be in their currency. They came to American USD dollar. They came to our stock markets as a whole, our tech sector, because we are the most lucrative market on the planet, period. In the credit, rotate, right? Rotate in the credit. So, yeah, we've done pretty well for ourselves, regardless of the situation, right? And even if you have any pullback into 2022, let's say if we pull back to 400, right? You see this here, right? From here down to 400 here. I mean, literally, you're just basically, still above, again, any notable gain for the last, 2-year perspective, because again, we open up roughly down here at, 368, somewhere around 369, whatever, and you still up. So you still, be up in terms of notional value of gain for 2021, right? And into 2022 perspective where, you ain't really lost and you're just getting a reset, so to speak. So again, markets are definitely set up to give you a different, vantage point of how you really look at money. Like, who's really buying this is my point. As they say, the numbers don't lie. And here you see that clearly that the market's just been number Teflon done going back as far as the COVID lows. And here we are up, 475.15, after hitting 218.26, on March basically of 2020 with the COVID pandemic, thing kicked off. And so, yeah, things do look a little different when you slow it down, hit rewind, bring it back selector. It's a whole different ball game out there. So yeah, my New Year's, if you want to play that game, of course, I understand that New Year ain't nothing there to win them, but we'll play the game. All right. I'm waiting for the spring equinox to kick off, right? Spring equinox, that's the new year, right? But nonetheless, far as this paper version of the new year, yeah, I'm very poised and ready to see what basically what it has to offer in 2022. And I see it from a place of, yeah, maybe a little less liquidity, maybe a little bit more stringent, and stricter environmental value to kind of trade some of the, high PE growth stocks that have just been, going up, religiously without any kind of, barrier in front of them, right? Yeah, but I still look forward to being a solid, seek and destroy type of investor. I'm gonna find those plays that still offer great opportunity and great yield. Why? Because that's what we train for. That's what we study for. That's what we're preparing for, right? So yeah, 27+% on a year. Again, that still beats your money market account. It still beats the average, even some real estate value, because even though the housing market was just booming all, of last year and a little bit of 2020, the consistency of that is that you have to be an agent that's out there on your grind, right? If you just had, let's say, $1 million and you, again, parlayed it into the stock market off the COVID lows, just the COVID lows alone, we're not even that far. We'll go back and use 2021, right? 2021, you still had about 27% increase on that, right? So that's roughly about 270,000, right? So you made 270,000 off a mill, right? If you had that coming into this calendar season here, falls to market relation value, and the market gained about 27, 28%, somewhere around there, give or take, in the S&P 500. In this index fund alone, you didn't profit at 270,000, right? I know a lot of people can live comfortable with a $270,000 annual value of growth. Again, it's that kind of mentality. It's that kind of mentality, right? 10 racks brought you 2,700. So again, if you had a savings account somewhere right now, Chase, Citi, USA, Penn, Navy, Federal, Pedigree, whoever you use for who you bank with, if you had money sitting in a savings account and it was not accruing no interest, which basically what a savings account is, a dead place for money to sit at and to be used by the banks so they can grow their money. If you had that and wasn't putting that money to work, you just missed out on what? 27% on that 10K. Right, will be worth $2,700 right now. Literally, right now, it'd be worth $2,700. Right, that's escrow for somebody mortgage or something. Having to pay, the end of the year taxes, so to speak. Look, again, it's not even up for discussion at this point. We understand it, we realize that, but it's about letting people know. Again, you have to start putting forth a better initiative to figure out ways to be better, thoroughly positioned to reap the benefits of growth when you see it, or the opportunity that's afforded to you to take advantage of it and nothing else, right? Of course, don't jump out there and feel like you can just willy-nilly and learn as you go, right? That's the worst way to learn, right? You want to be studied, you want to research, you want to do your due diligence, you want to be disciplined, you want to realize that, as they say, the rules of engagement, once you establish that, then go get it. Go get it. Now, technically, when you think about, the assets as a whole, or as one would say, the asset classes, right? Because there's a big comparison, right? Well, who had the best year, right? Right, between crypto, gold, or forex, or equity markets, right? Now, people look at, of course, Bitcoin, be like, man, bro, Bitcoin, the crypto market as a whole, bro, it's been in the dumpster lately. It's all about perspective, right? Again, perspective is it's the new black, right? Orange is the new black. Perspective is the new black. You have to, provide proper perspective. I'm not going to even say context, because that gets lost in the sauce sometimes, because people context is different based upon their opinion sometimes, opposed to just primary sources, right? Now, but on a notional value and looking at charts, because charts don't lie, right? We go to a primary source of charts. The chart's going to show you exactly what Bitcoin did on the year, right? So when someone say, well, yeah, man, it's tanking, and crypto is this and this, that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, what did the chart say? Go to the charts, right? What did the chart say? Right? Show me what the chart's saying, you telling you, and then we can have that discussion. So really quick, let's go to the, we'll use the daily, right? That way it looks more, it looks more thorough, right? Coming into 2021, right? Coming into 2021, right? Let's go to the first day, January the 1st. Right, January the 1st, 2021, Bitcoin opened up at 28,990, right? And 8 cents, right? Don't forget my 8 cents, right? Carry it forward. $28,990.08 on January the 1st of 2021. Right now, Bitcoin sits at what? 46,000, or basically what? 46,259. So was there a gain in the crypto market for the year of 2021? Yeah. Duh. All right. Did it outperform the S&P 500? Well, if you do the percentage gain on that, 28,000 to that of what, 46,000, right? In this regard, right? A doubling of that would be around about what, 56,000. So you only off that by what, about 10,000. So roughly around about what, 40+%, somewhere around there, give or take. about 40+%, somewhere around there. So yeah, crypto actually outperformed the S&P 500 in 2021. Let that marinate. Now, it doesn't have the chart set up like what the S&P 500 has. That's one thing the S&P 500 has in terms of Bitcoin does not. It has a more fluid, chart setup that just kind of cruise to the upside based upon the Federal Reserve backing it, liquidity and repo operations and mortgage-backed security bond purchases, things of that nature, right? More cleaner chart. But on a growth perspective, Bitcoin outperformed the S&P 500. It definitely outperformed gold, right? I don't have to even put a gold chart up. We already know that. So your biggest asset, beneficiary of 2021 by far was Bitcoin. If you want to lump all the cryptocurrencies into it as a whole, yeah, okay, well, big cryptocurrencies, I guess, whatever, right? It outperformed the S&P 500. And basically all you see here is a double top, clearly a double top, right? You establish a little support around that 30, 29 area. See, I got my little hash line down there, of course. I'm watching that line right there very closely as a support, right? That 29,000 area. But outside of that, yeah, it outperformed the S&P 500. So yeah, if you came in at the beginning of the year, like new year, new me, right? Y'all gonna hear that a lot, right? Y'all probably been hearing it already up and down your little news feeds on your little social sites. New year, new me. Guess what? Crypto, provided that person who came in, with 10,000, 1,000, whatever, you still gain over 40% on your investment in basically Bitcoin. That's just where we're at as of today. And that's if you didn't sell at the top, up near, 64, 65,000, whatever. Let that marinate. So if you put in 1,000, you up, you definitely cleared over $400, right? Easily, right? If you put in 10 racks, you cleared over 4,000, and on and on and on and on and on. That still beats your money market account. That beats probably your TSP. Depends, right? How you got TSP set up, right? Your C's, your B, your A, how you have it set up for your risk portfolio, risk profile. It beat out most of you guys' Roth IRAs. It beat out majority of your 401ks, right? Depends on how you have it set up. I got to say that depends on how you have it set up, right? Because we know certain sectors just outperform, obviously, well above that in the S&P 500, right? And we can just say Tesla alone. But we just talking about like index funds that already kind of set up like a Roth or a TSP or something of that nature. Because what they'll do, they'll lump Bitcoin as just that kind of reality. It's just everything is riding on the shoulder of Bitcoin. So they look at it as if it's the ETF of all the cryptocurrencies. That their words, not mine, right? But nonetheless, it outperformed majority of those in that perspective. Even though it's a standalone asset, we get that. But I'm just showing you, just hey, right? No cap, right? No cap, right? They say no cap here. Numbers don't lie. I'm just waiting for people to kind of give me, they keep giving me doom and gloom. They keep giving me, it's this or it's that, it's this rat poison square. Of course, a la, Charlie Munger and, Warren Buffett, right? They be obviously dogging crypto. Of course they are, right? They're old, right? They old school. They don't know about all this funny money stuff to them, right? Reality is that the new person, the new investor, the new, the new neo investor, I'm gonna call it a neo investor, right? You guys are realizing, hey, there's more than one ways to get to the bag. And so they ain't hard for one to kind of pull up a chart on Bitcoin or this, that, and the third and assess exactly what's going on here. And then you say, okay, well, all right, this makes sense. Yeah. So we're just talking about growth for the year. It outperformed S&P 500. It outperformed gold. Right. So if you think the crypto game is over at this point, that's all you're getting out of it, then hey, good luck. As of now, things are still, shown to be, as it's holding, strength and gains as of now. I gotta say that as of now. And we still kind of consolidating and figure out whether we're going, push and go higher or stay stagnant or pull back a little bit. Nonetheless, it still has outperformed on a yearly basis. True story, right? So that's the energy, guys. So we're ready. Again, going into next year, guys. Again, no sweat off our backs. No matter what you look at in terms of the marketplace as a whole, we're ready for it, right? We're ready, right? And it's good because people need to see that from an investment perspective here, just looking at gold real quick here. Gold from 2021 basically opened up, here, right? Let's go to the that first, this is on the daily charts, of course, is going to open up on the 4th in this regard. Open up at about 181, right? 181.97, so nearly 182. And we're finishing up the year on gold at 170. 170.96. Is that a gain or is that a loss? Well, on the annual basis, it's a loss. Looking at the bigger picture, though, what the gold chart looks like, it looks very bullish. So next year, even though you may have what they call consolidation, stagnation, whatever, accumulation, and a whole year of trading gold, going into next year, things may be a little bit more different. See, it's all about perspective. Again, not context, but perspective, because you get to see this from a chart or analytical perspective on the technical side. It gives you more contrast, right? It gives you more comparative value against other asset classes once you're starting to see the broader value of what this thing is starting to do. So again, on a bigger picture, on a bigger note, yeah, that looks like a fry pan bottom to me, right? It looked like it's starting around the corner here after all that accumulation, consolidation, as of last year, where it just basically went sideways. Now it's starting to set up like it might want to do a little some strain for a little piece of change. I'm just saying, family, right? Because we're ending the cycle of extra liquidity by the Feds. Interest rates are starting to kind of bump back up, in a lot of ways, right? Now, typically liquidity is good for gold, right? But they also need the dollar to kind of stabilize and kind of, either downtrend a little bit. Because when the dollar's dropping, gold is popping, right? So you can't have a strong dollar and strong gold, right? There has to be a balance there. But the one thing we know that the markets are out of whack right now because the commodity prices are super high because of inflation, because of supply chain values, and many other reasons that cause these, commodities to start to kind of move a little bit more to the upside. Well, the dollar is still trying to hang on for dear life. Like, again, that's because the market's a little, it's a little slow right now, right? Because of all this liquidity that came from the Feds. It's going to take a minute for all that stuff to balance out properly. But as long as you keep your eye on that 10-year yield, that's another great barometer to see, how the commodity markets are going to respond in relation to that of the USD dollar or the DOXY, right? And so those are some of the aspects or assets that we want to keep in mind. All right. As a whole, right? So, we'll, have that better kind of understanding exactly what markets are doing. So here you go on the dollar, same reality in a lot of ways. Look at the chart on this. All right. The dollar opened up 2021, right, at $89. Well, basically work, 89 cents, for every aspect of a whole dollar, right? So 89.93 to be exact, right? So roughly, close about 90% value of the strength of a dollar value, right? We're finishing up the year around about 95 and change, right? So you came up around about 5 points on the year. That's still a gain, nonetheless, right? That's still a gain. Right? So yeah, we're watching this and it hit some resistance several times. Of course, you see this line up here, definitely a big resistance bar here. And we drew this line here maybe a long time ago, right? Months and months ago, maybe last year. We drew this line here going back as far as back here. And look where it's at now. It respected all that movement, all that time. And now we just figured out we're pinging up against it now. So we might have topped out, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. The linear regression band says different, right? It wants to drift higher, right? It wants to potentially try to drift higher, but again, with gold potentially starting to look like it may want to break out, that's also pressure on the dollar. Interest rates going a little bit, starting to get, a little new breath underneath its wings as well. That's also another, somewhat headwind for the dollar, right? Tech sector as a whole that's been eating off all this cheap money by the Feds, right? Interest rates being based at a quarter basis point, that's going to change. That may be also kind of, headwinds for the dollar, right? So maybe we didn't hit our little double top peak there at, up near 96 to 97. Who knows? But we'll see. Again, these are the assets that most people are watching going into 2022. We just want to make sure we have them on record as well as, as a form of, a fair assessment. Fair assessment, right? No harm, no foul, right? Fair assessment. But overall, again, still Bitcoin outperform most of all these assets, right? And I think even within that, just using cryptocurrency market as a whole, I think Ethereum was really the breadwinner this year. We talking about notional value of gains, man. Ethereum was just kicking butt, taking names. Ethereum opened up the year at roughly around about $737 a token. $737 a token in Ethereum, and now it's sitting at 3,673. Let me repeat. Ethereum opened the year up in 2021 at $737 and change, and now sitting at 3,673. Looks like that's well over about 500+% to me. Looks about near 500+% to me. So Ethereum in itself outperformed a lot of assets, right? Up and down the board. Ethereum alone over 500+%. That's 1 year. So again, if you put in, if you bought, let's say $10,000 worth of Ethereum at the beginning of 2021, now that 10,000 is now worth what? Somewhere near 50,000 plus, near 60, right? 50,000 is $60,000 worth. Again, make that make sense in terms of a money market account. How you beating those gains? 10 racks turned into 50 to 60,000. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I might want to be pay attention a little bit more with this investing stuff, this asset class, understanding a little bit. That's near 600%, dang near. Make that make sense. Dollars and cents, that is. So yeah, we're not sitting there, again, we can, pull up many, but we just using some of the more marquee names out there at this point, because most people are familiar with them to some degree. They've heard about them or whatever. So yeah, markets going into next year, right? You're seeing the ones that are establishing strength. You're seeing the ones who are starting, cement themselves as a notable, value of worth watching and potential investing in. Yeah, we'll see what's happening, what's going to pop into 2022. As of now, Ethereum still look like it's doing pretty well. Again, you got a 200-day moving average here on the daily sitting at around about $3,501 a share, or to share a token, right? We're dealing with tokens here. So the strength is still still in play here, right? It's still got some strength here. Again, you're getting close to the linear regression band here at the bottom down here. Potentially bounce there, but nonetheless, again, outperform a lot of asset classes on its own because of the fact that again, it's a type of play within the crypto space that has a little bit more validity in some institutional minds than that of Bitcoin, and that's why they flock into it. It has a lot of different use cases, because y'all know I love Ethereum, right? I'm an ERC20 baby, right? I'm thinking about getting a tattoo, right? I'm just playing mom. Now, but I love ERC20. I love smart contract, because this eliminates a lot of the stuff that people realize, that when we say decentralized value of intelligence that comes along with the blockchain as a whole, this eliminates a lot of middlemen, a lot of parasite business practices that came out of the old antiquated boomers society, right? And this is a new wave of the future going forward, right? Transparency, smart contracts, the reality of how Ethereum or the crypto space as a whole eliminated, literally, if you even want to think about Ethereum period, Ethereum eliminated three different industries, parasitic industries that we came from before it, got enacted or came into its form, right? It eliminated the use of banks, it eliminated the use of lawyers, and it eliminated the need of financial technology aspects and things like that nature to a degree. It eliminated all those things just by the value of its utilitarian value, right? Because think about all the things that use that ERC20 value. Look, you just killed three middlemen, some of the three bigger, richly priced middlemen out there on the planet. There's no need for them. There's no need for them now. Lawyers, bankers, and financial technology, or some aspects of within that, you eliminated those things, guys, through Ethereum alone. That's why Ethereum is getting paid the way it's getting paid now. People are starting to realize that now. They can move money better, establish better, transparency in terms of, paperwork and all this stuff. Man, look, all right. All righty then. Right? So this is why we're excited about a lot of this stuff going into the next year. We're not, look, man, we built for this. We're built for this. Right? No secret to us, We just want to be thorough and proficient and learn how to utilize it again to our better proficient. Now, again, going back to the markets as a whole, all right. Chris put this out today as well. I seen it, and passed through one of the articles, but he was there to kind of provide it for the group so we can, see it and utilize as well. But when we talk about different, the asset, the different subclasses within the indice of the S&P 500, right? The sub values of it, right? When we talk about how well the market performed on average, like what sectors did well and which ones did not, reason why I want to kind of get this out there too, before I close out here, this is important. Why? Because you have to start setting up a game plan going into 2022, like today, like literally yesterday. You should have been doing it yesterday, right? We've been talking about this ever since the beginning of this year, right? So ain't nothing new. Even going back in 2020, so to speak. But so far, some of the industries that were banging in 2020 maybe kind of tapered off a little bit in 2021. Who knows? Some of them still stay strong, but we know that the things are getting ready to change a little bit on the chessboard. Some pieces are getting moved around a little bit, and you have to restructure your portfolio value, your investment cycle thesis, whatever. So you need to know what may hold water next year as opposed to what may not. So really quick here, right? Let's look at what sectors gained very well in 2021. Why? Because some of these right here are going to be the ones that you might start looking at going into 2022 as notable industries, or within this value of subgroups that you can probably looking at for growth of next year. Why? Because they're going to be very well positioned to weather the storm of less liquidity by the Feds, interest rates potentially going up, tapering obviously, being in effect, right? People being more calculative in their assessment of what they might want to invest in, as opposed to just throwing anything at the market, seeing what stick. Why? Because the Feds got their back. So right out the gate, you see as it says, all 11 S&P 500 sector groups are poised for double-digit gains in 2021. Meaning this is what the market is kind of closing out with all these assets, these sub-asset classes underneath the indices as a whole. All these produce well over 10%. Again, beating out your money market account. Beating out your money market account, beating out your coffee can savings plan that you got, right? Putting all your money in the coffee can, putting it in the backyard somewhere, hiding it under the bed, all that stuff, mattress money. All 11 sectors beat all those in terms of interest accruing gains. Let that marinate for a moment. Moment of silence for people that didn't take advantage of some of these different moments in terms of growth. That was just, really was a given. Why? Because the Feds was accommodative. People didn't have no other alternatives, which they definitely don't as of right this moment. And that's why markets outperforming showed out. So all of these are what they call, I look at these percentage gains as monetary, appreciating values. So 13%, right? 13% of $100, 15% of $100, 19% of $100, 21, 24, y'all get it. $46, almost half of $100 right here. So again, you put in 10 racks, you walk away with $4,700. You put in $100, you walk away with 47, right? You put in $1 million, you walk away with 470,000, right? You see the sectors that definitely perform well, right? Sitting at the top, obviously, clearly. Why? Because we knew this in 2020 that energy was going to be a big money haul for 2021. Why? Because everything that Joe Biden spoke about in terms of what he wanted as an initiative, as a candidacy for president in terms of clean energy, all this stuff like that, is no wonder why they outperform. Again, with Tesla in the mix of all that too. Seriously, Neo, Lucid, XP, many others, right? Even Ford showed out. It rebranded itself. Look where it came back from the grave. It came back from the dead. GM, Volvo, all this stuff. Energy stock showed out. EV, Charge Point, Blink. Man, there's so many of them out there within this sector here. Clean energy initiatives as a whole They won out. Why? Because a lot of liquidity, basically, the government is partitioning for, is going to move into that space. They're trying to do away with what they want to have, less carbon footprint. Not rocket science, guys. You ain't had to think about that twice when you kept hearing them beating the drum about clean energy, clean energy, clean energy, clean energy, clean energy, clean energy. States are setting up mandates to do away with fossil fuels by 2035, 2030. Some of them even earlier than that. So yeah, we're all shifting to what? A clean energy initiative nation, world. Yeah, these are going to be investments that people are going to sit in for years to come. Why? Because we're still moving into the space of solar, clean energy, hydrogen fuel cells, and again, electrical vehicles in terms of lithium batteries and all different things that come along with that, solid state, quantum battery. Look, we could be here for days talking about these different scenarios. So it's not rocket science to realize that this is how energy stocks outperform everything in that regard. You see what I'm saying? And those checks are still yet to get cashed into 2022, right? We know that the infrastructure bill got passed. The Build Back Better did not, but we know that the money is already kind of allocated for that, at least the infrastructure side. So this money is still yet to really go down range and hit some of these companies yet. They're getting forward future valuations on their companies right now ahead of a lot of this liquidity coming into their companies by way of these projects going forward into 2022 in a way where it's going to even benefit these companies even more. Yeah, it's going to benefit them even more. F-Cell, all that stuff like that. Plug, Rivian. Rivian just opened a manufacturing plant in the state of Georgia. Why? Because they're going to be the biggest outfitter for Amazon trucks going forward. EV electrical trucks for Amazon. Guess who got the contract to outfit them? Rivian. And Amazon got that big money, right? They got that big money. See how that work? Now you still got to assess the stock and see what is worth to you at this point. Is it still a little bit too pricey for you or not? That's up to the individual investor. But I say, like anything, let everything kind of pan out, let everything stabilize with all this new money, new me, new year, new policy, new taxation, new this, new that, and then start looking at the aspect of what it's going to look like over a growth timeline, 3 years, 5 years, 10, whatever. And you pretty much can almost assess which ones are going to be power players because of the contracts and the moves that they're making today. Not that they can't lose them, but as of now, they're setting up for something really, really big for their situations because they know the liquidity is coming into their sector. Why? Because clean energy is going to be the topic of discussion. Not just in America, Europe, Asia, Africa, India, right? All these little ancillary nations out there, Australia, Greenland, wherever, right? South Pole, Santa Claus, he going to need an electrical vehicle sleigh, right? He can't, the reindeers got to get retired because OSHA and EPA and the PETA all on their backs, right? It's time to retire the reindeers. You need electrical sleigh. Santa, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give you a ticket. You only take this ticket with you. See you at the county clerk, next week. Clean energy. So not rocket science. Real estate coming in at a strong 43%. Why? Housing market went through the roof because the commodity price went through the roof, not rocket science. So the gains were very good in the real estate market because price values went up. A lot of you guys that own property like myself, y'all saw them numbers go through the roof. I'm still sitting there like, man, this is just wonderful, right? This is wonderful. All the property, man, I'm like, look, bro, we can cash out, and still probably off the rest. So we saw a year of gains in return in the housing market, unlike anything we've seen. Why? Because of commodity prices, right? Scarcity. The pandemic, it forced people out of metro areas and pushed them out into rural areas. They want to buy bigger places and less, to dodge COVID. Yeah. See how that worked? Out of chaos, opportunity arises. For those who are in position to offer a good or a service, though. See, that's the difference. You got to be in the position of ownership, asset ownership. You're the winner. You're the winner. The people who own assets. If you own houses, homes, whatever, rental property like myself and many others, stocks, crypto, whatever. Yeah, you're the winner. You're the winner. So no secret here going into next year. Again, some of these sectors may, bounce up a little bit. Some of them may still pop out, but it's up to you to figure out which ones may still carry weight going into next year. right? You may see a change of the guard. You may see a lot of these ones on the bottom half here flip and be the ones for next year, right? Utilities may bang out, consumer staples may bang out, industrial communication services, discretionary materials, some of these things. Definitely healthcare. Healthcare definitely sitting in the middle. So this one here is the juggernaut. Why? Because there's always a need for healthcare. And even more so now with the way that they're getting out this COVID stuff, when it all comes to a head, where they can say, okay, here's the underlying value of what we're dealing with for us right now with the pandemic. How much of this we need to allocate to healthcare going forward, knowing that this virus is pretty much under control. We're having the more wild strains mutate. Now we can just start putting money together for certain things to fight certain things. The healthcare sector as a whole is definitely going to always benefit going forward. Now, because we figured out the pandemic is going to be endemic, and so they're going to need different things to keep them up abreast of being able to fight this virus, keep people safe in hospitals, whatever. So they're going to get a big chunk of change, right? So, and then some of these healthcare players pay pretty good dividends on some of these stocks, whatever the case. But yeah, definitely keep your eye on healthcare. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Right? Ancillary items that need to get taken into consideration for people having things they need. Masks, right? They just came out of the basically Joe Biden said what for testing kits that every American has the ability to get free testing kits from the government. Free testing kits from the government. That's healthcare, right? That ain't consumer discretionary. That ain't consumer staples, industrials. That's healthcare. Who's going to pay for all those test kits? The government, right? Well, who's going to be the beneficiaries putting them out there? The healthcare sector, the Abbott Labs, stuff like that, right? They sell those test kits. Bam. See how that works? Again, not rocket science, guys. Not rocket science. So going into 2022, yeah, this list right here is definitely a great starting point for a lot of people. You just go through all the different subgroups here, figure out which ones may have a better game plan in place and motion going into the next year. You already know pretty much what all the variables are for next year by way of the Federal Reserve. They pretty much gave you the blueprint because they control most of the market liquidity, between them and the banks, whatever. So yeah, if they're gonna taper this and taper that, you know what happens to the stocks that are benefiting off of the most, the growth ones that got high PEs, they're gonna have to kind of put out some organic growth next year, or they're not gonna be the most attractive ones to buy. Why? Because they're already overly expensive. Not that people won't buy into them still or whatever, like they're just gonna sell out their position. It's just that they're not gonna be the main focus that most people are gonna run to. They're gonna run to those sectors that that still has a value of comeback. Because in a world where we're going to return back to some kind of form of quote unquote normalcy, well, then some of the stocks that typically do pretty fair well on a even kill scenario, a lot of those stocks may start to catch a bid the next year. They may start to catch them a bid next year. So a lot to take into consideration there. So again, I just want to use this time to kind of give you guys some perspective, again, not context, but perspective based upon the reality of numbers, right? Because numbers are basically the rubric that we kind of we follow in this regard, so we can make, again, better and well-informed decisions, for our value of growth in the markets across different asset classes, right? Does not matter, right? We just went through all of them, right? Crypto, again, we didn't go into Forex, but Forex is pretty much, in my opinion, Forex is pretty much a binary reality. Why? Because you understand the growth of what these different nations and what they're dealing with based upon the economic calendars out there, right? Like, what are they currency doing up against the dollar, right? If the world reserve currency is the dollar, how are they pairing up against the dollar? In that regard, you'll see the strength of whether they have, any, future, in their reality. Into next year to a degree, if they can able to rebound even some of their economies. But if they took bigger hits on their economies because they wasn't equipped to deal with COVID, or the main source of their GDP growth, it comes from what they call serviceable industries as opposed to industry, commodity-based industries, then they're hurting because tourism, right? Tourism is scarce because of what? The virus. If they just bank on their monuments and old relics of what they was back in the days as to feed their economy, that ain't gonna that ain't gonna fare too well, right? And so you can already assess whether their currency is going to do pretty well based upon those things alone. If you don't have cash crops, raw materials, as a GDP enhancer, then the road to come back is going to be a bit longer for you. So that's why I say, the Forex side is more binary, right? Than it is for, even the cryptocurrency space, and that of, definitely commodities and gold, and then, definitely stocks, equities. Right. So again, not rocket science in that perspective either. All right. So yeah, year in review, guys. That's where we at, man. Look, I look forward to this. You say, so we say sorry to the grass, but who did you say Amazon's partner with? Oh, Rivian. I'm sorry, I just looked at the chat real quick. All over that, y'all know I get to talking. I forget to look. Yeah, Rivian is partnering with basically with Amazon. Right. All right. Let me put that right here so y'all can have it. Right. And they're actually building a plant right now in Georgia, as we speak, right, to be able to manufacture those electrical trucks that you see the Amazon trucks riding around now. Them they're going to be electrical. Right, they're gonna have a RC racing motor, literally underneath the hood, right? Right. So Rivian definitely, it's in this moment of trying to figure out if they're going to be really, really, a force to reckon in terms of Tesla. Now, again, to me, it's still no comparison. It's one of them more utilitarian in that regard, but we just talking about market share growth in the space, right? Because that's how they're always going to do it. It's not really even apples to apples at this point, but we know how they play the game. But nonetheless, that's growth because Amazon got big money, right? Amazon got big money, right? Who wouldn't want to get an Amazon contract, right? Like that money is definitely secured, right? Money secured, it's secured. Right. So yeah. So me personally, I wanted to come down a little lower, maybe get a little cheaper. I got my levels that I'm looking at, 70, 80. Man, I'd be love to get it around about 60 something. Right. But if was the fifth, we all be drunk, right? I'm just gonna have to see. But I got buy points set up at different intervals anyway, right? I don't mind, dip buying into it. At some point it's gonna bounce itself out and make a move, right? But hey, like in any chart, perspective, you got to find those levels of interest, so you can feel comfortable knowing that you're spending on what you feel like is notable for you to feel comfortable that you're going to pay it for this price, right? As they say, getting a good bang for your buck, right? Get the bang for your buck, right? Because at the end of the day, you cannot deposit excuses. You're going to have to find a way to make a move, right? One way or the other, because the world's still in growth, in a growth-laden perspective, right? And so we look forward to that. So what's going on, Ober Brandon? See you in the building. Shout out Ober Brandon in the house.
What's going on, brother A? How y'all doing?
Yeah,
What's
you
going
got
on,
it,
Sonny?
man.
Peace.
Nah, man, same thing with me too. I'm looking at Rivian at certain price points. I marked it out. I tried to take a picture of it at work, send it to you guys. I marked it out at like 87 and some change, and then I marked it out again at like, was it 110? And I was gonna get in at like 111, but it dipped. It even touched 111, I think. Let's see what it touched. And then sure enough, I was about to get in.
You had got in at 87, you said?
Oh no, I seen it at 87.
Oh, okay.
So I marked it at 87, and I was hoping that it would get down to 87 again. It didn't get down to 87. It got at like 110, 111. Oh no, it got up to 110. I was gonna buy it at 111 or 112, and then when I got ready to hit the send order, it dropped. Like it dropped back down to 100. So I was like, you know what? I could probably get this a little bit cheaper. Hold off, wait on it for a little bit. So I'm just waiting for that good price, like Oba said.
Yeah, see, we already got us a demarcation line already in the sand. You see, we ready.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So that 102 aspect of it is definitely a big major resistance point. Like we do this line, at a while, so we understand that it's trading at or around that. At this point, the 20-day moving average, that's the 20 that you see on this blue line, of course. It's kind of sitting actually in parallel to that of that demarcation line we got at 102. That's why I keep trading at or around 102. If you notice that over the past literally, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, somewhere around there, give or take, it's been, snaking around that 102 area, sitting at a person going below, getting back to it, sitting at a person that. So on a on a chart perspective, you see that this long consolidation here, kind of building at that line there, that deep, they call it the gun line. Tell them about the gun line, boss. That's right. That's the new gun line as of now. Right. So, I'm seeing it. And so I'm saying, okay, well, we bottom out around, like you said, 87 change, give or take, at around that point, near that point there. Yeah, everything near that point, that's below the IPO price in terms of what it opened up at. We know it was, overly, purchased, because of its, pre-market valuation that came into that regard. But nonetheless, we know that things can go lower, right? Than what they open up in terms of their first day of trading. I look at what Robinhood is getting taken to the cleaners right now, right? So yeah, we do great if we can get this around $50-$60, right? Like, who wouldn't want to take, back up the truck for that, right? That's look, crazy prices, right? But that's the if was a fifth kind of perspective. But nonetheless, we'll try to play for it, but not, we got check down levels that you can also start a starter position into that value of potential, potential bounce areas if it comes down and kind of test those areas. But one thing we do know for sure is that they're starting to notch, contracts underneath their belt. Again, Amazon being like, seriously, people ain't finna even argue that one. You still need them to say, well, what's your production gonna look like? That's the only thing most analysts are waiting on. Are you gonna have any issues with your manufacturing? Because the dime can hold up a dollar in that perspective. That's the only thing most Wall Street looking at this point, because they feel like this is already kind of locked and loaded. They need to see if they can get through all those problems that Tesla had to go through in the very beginning with less headaches, right? Because there's already kind of somewhat of a schematic or a blueprint in place by way of Tesla, even though they're they got stuff that's patented and all that stuff and it's different. But the only advantage that Tesla had, Tesla figured out how to eliminate a lot of those variables by being okay, I'm not going to wait on fabrication and stuff like this when these other people are holding up my process or trying to get my production numbers up. I'm just going to build my own machine to do what I need for it. So Tesla got more and more vertically integrated to the tune now where guess what? Everything they need, they just have it already done in-house. They're doing the same thing with SpaceX. They're building all their own parts in-house. They don't have to go to the other little ancillary places to get parts. They build their own stuff. That's how you be a boss. That's boss. That's boss. So that means that you took away a whole big variable out of any kind of manufacturing business by being vertically integrated, and you were you retain more of your profit value because you don't have to share that expense, right? You just need supplies of raw materials at that point. You doing all the mechanic stuff in-house on your own, you saving big time. So that's the only variable that's out there for Rivian at this point. Can you manufacture on a large scale level and have less error, less margin, error in that regard, right? So, when those things begin to iron themselves out at some point, then we'll see if Rivian can stay, hold water, against a scenario like a Tesla. Right? Even though I still feel like it's not a even comparison, but we'll go along, right?
So what you saying right now? Tesla, or not Tesla, but Rivian's number 2 right now.
You know what? I wouldn't even say they're number 2 right now. Why?
Really?
Here's why, right? Because remember one thing that they had an issue with. Matter of fact, the Department of Justice, many other people got on Wall Street got, and SEC and others are starting to crack down on the SPACs, right? Because of you can no longer come in with these high valuations and you don't have no production out.
Right. Yeah.
Wall Street has to now to be critical of that. They just can't do like they normally would do if there wasn't no kind of checks and balances in place and say, oh, this is going to be the name of the future. Look what it took for Nikola, to get their stuff right.
Right.
CEO on his way to prison, right? Potentially. Ex-CEO, potentially, right?
Did they find him?
Well, he in court right now. They already started the court proceeding with him already. I think they started last month, to be exact. Finally, right? He ain't skipped town enough, but he was just laying low because they had to excommunicate him from the company. They want his name to be tied to at this point because that's bad business, right?
Right.
And they still want to feel like they had something left to kind of be solvent and keep the company up afloat. And so this little deal that they got with the Port Authority in LA, that was a big win for them. They needed that, right? So them little trucks that they got going out there right now, they still got to perform, of course. And it's a small starter number, right? But now they're going to have to really up their game if they really want to be a player, right, in that space, right? These hydrogen fuel cell trucks or whatever. But as of now, of course, we're saying on a paper valuation value, you would say, okay, well, Rivian definitely have a leg up because they got Amazon in their corner. You see what I'm saying? But again, cooler head prevails, right? Cooler heads are going to prevail and say, okay, I want to wait and see what their production looks like. Why? Because Elon has pretty much already told everybody your biggest problem is going to come through what? Production. You can talk all you want, say you this and you that, you Tesla number 2, you the killer of the Tesla. And let me see what your production look like, because I went through that hell already, right? And y'all ain't built for that. That's what Elon looking at, like, y'all ain't built for this, right? Show me that you built for it, then I can give you that kind of level of credit. And so where Wall Street still want to say, you know, yeah, but we get it, Elon, but no, we just like it because it's attractive, because we think it's going to be a this valuation in the future. They still got to take the time to say, wait, let me see what your manufacturing going to look like. Yeah, we know you're going to build this plant in Georgia. Okay, that's good and all, but let's see what it was going to look like for you putting stuff out there, right? And I think that's going to give people the kind of level of, you know, I should say security pause that's necessary, right? Because you want to see that, right? That shows you that you got tangible units being moved. So when we see what your delivery numbers look like, because that's what all going to matter at the end of the day, right? What them delivery numbers look like. If they're moving and there's a growth perspective in that, you know, they're not having a lot of hiccups, then you can easily start assigning, you know, profit values to those numbers, because those numbers are going to be locked, loaded, and booted. They're not going to lie, right? That unit was built, so, you know, and moved out the warehouse. You can count that for the margin, you know, or profit value, right? So, you know, some things to kind of keep in mind, but ultimately, yeah, they do have a big presence of opportunity ahead, you know, afforded to them. Why? Because they are pure play in the space. Unlike Ford, that, you know, got the ability to get there at some point. I'm pretty sure they probably gonna have to go down that route, and they got old money to do so. But they still got to, you know, keep up competing some of these ICE vehicles, right? Rivian just comes in and say, nope, we strictly speaking what, you know, utility vehicles that's gonna, you know, help a lot of these warehouses that want to get away from gas vehicles or ICE vehicles, and we can be a big manufacturer in that space. Beyond the semi truck, because that's Tesla went straight to semi trucks. They don't have Sprinter vans in the works as of now, which we don't know about, right? Maybe they do, right? But they either got the Cybertruck for utilitarian sports, you know, individual person's consumption, or they went straight to the semiconductor truck. You see what I'm saying? On semiconductor, excuse me, the semi truck, right? Semi trailer truck. They don't have Sprinter vans, you know, utility, you know, articulate, you know, trucks. So they probably get there somewhere in the future, obviously, right? You already know they're gonna be like a Tesla garbage truck, right? One day,
That's what I'm waiting
come up
for.
in a garbage truck one day.
That's what I'm waiting for. Like Tesla picking up my trash. That's about it.
You know, it's coming. See, that's the Ford mindset that it takes to be in this game, because you got to see the bigger picture. See, that's what the analysts keep saying. They're like, oh, Tesla airplanes, Tesla dump trucks, Tesla garbage trucks, Tesla boats. See, they seeing all that stuff, but they just too ahead of the game. You see what I'm saying? They just overly too jubilee about it too soon. You see what I'm saying? Like too soon. We know it's coming, but you still got to be practical in your assessment of what you think the company value is worth as of, you know, on a forward 12, you know, PE perspective, right? That's why we had that PE ratio for a reason, right? Or the forward PE for a rate, for that perspective, right? Stay within the confinements of what you know that the company can attain and be able to, you know, put forward, so you don't get ahead of your valuation too much, right? Because that'll have you add more in places where you probably say, let me wait, right? Let me wait. Because the goal is to buy low, sell high, right? And that's what we want to do, right? So 2022 is going to be a year of that. It's going to be a year of thinning of the herd. I'm going to put that out there already. 2022 is definitely going to be a year of thinning of the herd for some of these stocks over others. And some of them going to start to outpace others. Why? Because they have a better model, a better business model, better manufacturing hub, a better whatever, a better mousetrap, quote unquote. That's what's going to be universal for them being able to steal market share. That's going to be that's the caveat, right? They got better engineers and all this, that, and the third. They eliminate problems better than everybody else. That's what Wall Street going to be looking for.
All right. Better mousetrap.
Better mousetrap. So, and so we start thinking about the ancillary players in the space that's going to feed off of these bigger projects, right? Who building the batteries, right? See, stuff like that. The energy space. Oh, go ahead, Oba.
No, I was gonna say that's another thing too. I was gonna ask you about Neo, because Neo was supposed to be the number one. It was supposed to come with the number one the battery. I forgot what type of.
Yeah, that 1,000 kilometers. You know, we was all over that on Neo Day, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, we know the one we did last year was the precursor for the one they did this year, because the one in 2020 was really going to be, that was the coming out, right? We had the ES7, right? We had the sedan with the LiDAR and all that when we did our little show on it. And of course, ain't no secret. I'm definitely like Neo perspective in that regard. They got the SUVs. They started out with the SUVs first, right? So they were already in the SUV space. See, that made them have a niche value coming out the game, unlike what Tesla did. Tesla didn't get into the EV space a lot later. And it's a crossover, right? You know, the Model Y is a crossover. It's not even a pure, SUV. Make sense?
Right.
So that put Neo in a better, different ballgame where they can say, well, here's our niche, right? We got ES7, ES9, ES6, excuse me. And now they got, the sedan. And then, of course, they got that Formula One racing car, the fastest car on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
The jokers don't even want to talk about that.
Right.
Right? Because you rarely see it, but it's out there. That's the fastest car on land on the planet. Could make this stuff up, right? That it's the N1 something. I forgot what it's called.
I think it was a Roadster.
No, not the Roadster. No, it's the Neo. It's
the
Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that one? We did it a while back. I had to pull it up. I forgot. I know it. It's just fleeting me right now. But I mean, that car's stupid fast, right? It whooped everything. But whatever you got on the gas, you might forget. But even with nitrous.
EP9.
Yeah, the EP9. Yeah, it whooped all that, right? So Junkers even forgot about that because they keep talking about the Roadster, right? Because it's Tesla, right? Tesla get all the shine.
Right.
But Neo again is unique in that perspective. Now they're dealing with the bureaucratic BS right now. That's what that's all about. China want to delist, America want them delist. They know they can benefit more out with American investors, because these are within the space of things that we're already fighting for clean energy, the world as a whole. So yeah, we want in on that, right? But we got to go through all this bureaucratic BS in terms of delisting, and China and America fighting a Cold War still, and it's just a mess, right? But they still do good under the Hong Kong exchange, if you ask me, if they did get delisted. But as of now, it makes Chinese stocks very scared to be investing in. Look at Alibaba.
Right.
They don't even want to touch Alibaba with a 10-foot pole, but everybody want in on that low price. I mean, they literally got market value like Amazon. Like everybody in Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, India, Australia, majority of their stuff come from Alibaba, not Amazon. So they're equipping the entire world with products, where Amazon just pretty much got all America long lock, Canada, South America here and there. Some people buy stuff out of sea, but Alibaba been around, in the game, doing that stuff long time ago, a long time before really Amazon really got solid, in that, in that perspective of what Amazon does. And so look at the stock here, how it fell from grace because of all that bureaucratic crap. Again, you talking about 2015, $81. Here it is, 2021, and you hit a low around about 109, somewhere around there, 108. I mean, literally about 20 points off the low, all-time IPO. Well, not the all-time low, but the IPO price low, right? But again, we had an all-time low around about $56 a share, right? But ever since that that asset hit that price, man, this thing been game busted upside. Yeah, from 56 all the way up to near near 305, 308, 310, whatever. And it earned that because Alibaba kicking butt, taking names purely. And they became a holding company too. They started buying up and share the stake in Tencent and Baidu. They start buying up their demographic like they were supposed to, right? Or investing in projects like that. And here's now, because they got to deal with all this bureaucratic mess, people treating Baba like it's a stepchild. I still say it's still toxic. It's still a toxic investment until they can get past all the bureaucratic BS. As bad as you might want to invest in it, it's still toxic right now. See, this is the year in review where you have to look at that going into 2022. If they can figure out how to iron out all that bureaucratic mess with this, then guess what? Everybody waiting on that. Now, Charlie Munger, he got excited and started buying early because he's like, oh, we got to get through this. This can't believe this. He was buying up and around this point here. Look, now he underwater, right? Warren Buffett, right-hand man, he underwater. So tell me how these, big old gurus like that can't even take L's. They take L's too, right? He buying up here. It's even lower now. So yeah, everybody trying to time the bottom, so to speak. That's all that is. I do believe it's gonna, they're gonna figure it out at some point. But as of now, they're gonna have to hold that L, right? Buffett gonna have to, Charlie Munger that is, right? But it's still part of Buffett too. Right. They're gonna have to hold that L unless he bought it in his own portfolio. You got to hold that L. But I'm waiting for it just like anybody else. Yeah, I'm waiting for the bounce. I'm not going to say the bad. I'm just going to say what it is. I'm waiting on the bureaucratic stuff to move aside. If and when that happens, or whatever the case, if they just say, we're not going to deal with this, we're just going to go on, the Hong Kong exchange and move on, and we'll just, list ourselves on the Israel exchange and the Canadian TSX and all that stuff. We'll just do the Europe, the DAX and the FTSE and all that stuff, whatever. Shanghai. We'll just play all those players. Look, I'll just go through my broker and buy through those different exchanges. At that point, at least they'll have this headwind out the way. They can focus on this point is getting back to business, right? They still doing business. It's not like the business shut down just because they have an American investor issue, right? But yeah, that's it. So Chinese stocks are under that pressure. What's going on, Ilma Angela? See you in the building. Shout out to you.
Hi,
Good,
what's
Sister Angie.
happening, everyone?
Peace,
Happy
power,
New
progress.
Year to everyone.
It ain't no New Year. It's still 5 o'clock.
I know.
Yeah, I did that to you. Yeah, but no, Happy New Year to you, Il. Because we spring equinox people over here. We spring equinox. Ain't no New Year in the dead of winter. But
Yes, exactly.
right? Ain't nothing growing in the winter, right? But a cold or a COVID.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was telling everybody the same thing. Solstice.
Yeah, spring equinox come
And
through, right?
equinox.
Yeah. But no, Happy New Year, all intents and purposes, as we getting ready for the new year. So how you feel about it? Where are you at? Going into the new year?
Man, I don't know. My luck in 21 is like, I can't call it bad luck. It's good luck.
Don't say luck. Don't you?
I know. There's no luck. No. You're right. It's not luck.
How dare
It's
you?
like all lessons and experience. And I had certain of my options were good this morning, but I was in the emergency room with my son this morning, so I didn't get to handle my stuff. Oh my God. So I come home and I see how they look. I was like, okay, I missed a few plays, but I'm actually, it's a experience, a learning process, and I have the patience to just hold out for everything. I was saying, I have some long options, long calls, and I'll just wait for those to pan out later. Nothing's really going on. It's just quiet. I'm just watching how these things are working. And I had that BBIO call, and so it had some, it had a little bit of, I had a few dollars on it, but I didn't touch it. I just left it because I started late today.
That's a part of the game. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You got to be able to monitor your risk, right? Anytime you put risk on, right, you got to be responsible for the risk, and it's just part of life. Things happen in that regard. But like I always say, make sure you keep them stop losses present. Make sure you have your trail stops, in place if it's necessary, of course, within that perspective, because you want to be, again, if they say prudent, right, with any kind of form of putting your money into any asset class, in relation that you're looking for a return. You want to make sure that you at least keep an eye on it, right? Whenever you can. So, going into 2022 course, that's going to be another a notch you're going to have on your belt, and improving your skills, right? Even more, taking it to the next level, right? Finding that opportune time to really be in a position where you can make things, more applicable to your time, right? To your movements, and so to speak. So, this is what's great about the markets, because it teaches you how to better, put better maintenance parameters into play. That's all this stuff is, really. It is checks and balances. Let's be honest here, guys. Right? A lot of the mainstream information that we've already been able to, to garner by being in this, they call the soft skills we got from learning this stuff on the base level. We got that stuff really, in play. We just got to figure out, okay, how can I, move the parts around to make it work for me? You see what I'm saying? Your time, as I say, find your own niche, but steal from everybody, right? You got to figure out what's going to work better for you in your time parameter. The assets are there. We know what they're going to do most cases, for the most part. Yeah. But outside of that, timing is everything, right? Because timing gives you what? It gives you, is it a go time, or it's kind of sit time, or it's kind of, dump it all together time. You see what I'm saying?
I had some Carnival too, a Carnival put. I saw it looked like it was in the green today, and I was just like, wow, okay. So I'm thinking that's about to bounce too. All right,
but you know what's going on with that space? See, that's not even rocket science. What's going on in that space right now?
Exactly. Whatever
See,
but the put was made some money. I had some money on it, but by the time
that's
I got to
why,
look
because
at it,
the space in trouble, right? Right?
yes.
The- the-
By the
the-
time I looked at it, it's already like made a little bounce. So I said, okay, I don't know if it's gonna come back down because it looks like it's at the where it was before it, before it rose. It's
right.
probably gonna. Yeah, it looked like a little weakish type of bounce. So I'm like, okay, it might come back down some more. I think it had some more space to come down. It was floating,
Well, again, see, that's why I say you don't have to worry about, stressing your day, stressing your mind, right? You know how this stuff
Yeah,
go. How that song go, take that thing to trial, the old school rap song, take that thing to trial. You gotta take these
exactly,
stocks to trial.
That Scarface.
exactly.
That's
See that?
Scarface, that's take that thing to trial.
See that? See that?
See, you got to understand the parameters of the game, what rules of engagement. Once you realize that, guys, I tell you what, this thing gonna get so much more easier. And you guys are already starting to realize it, in a lot of ways, right? The reality is that, again, this is going to be your precursor for anything that you do going forward in any business decision. Why? Because you're going to do your checks and balances first, right? Your preventive maintenance checks and services check. That's just a part of what we do. So at least you know all the risk that's afforded, right? Once you establish that, if your risk profile has been minimized, basically down to, a few percent here and there, give or take, you're in a better position to reap the more profit value from that setup, right? That situation, based upon anything that may be surrounding the space that may be a problem or a variable. In this regard, of course, they're willing backpedaling because of the whole COVID stuff, right? And then the CDC, all this stuff recommending people don't get on travel cruise and stuff like that. See,
Right.
you can kind of already, piecemeal this together where it doesn't seem like it's like, okay, I'm just gonna see if I can get lucky, right? I'm gonna just take the no, you have a
Exactly.
formulated
I went
thesis,
right for the travel mandates stuff.
right? And you got to have a timeline and perspective. You got to have a stop loss in perspective. You got to have a profit value level in perspective. All those things matter. Why? Because it's gonna make you be honest, right? It's gonna keep you honest with your money. So at least when you putting it out there, you say, well, this is what I'm looking to get potentially. Here's my, my threshold of pain that I'm looking to have to deal with if I don't have to. And the rest is just let me see this thing play out based upon what the fundamental side of this, what the technicals may be officer professing in relation to that, and let it go out there and operate and give yourself enough time to obviously let it happen too, of course, especially if you're trading options, that is. But outside of that, the rest is history. See, we ain't got a whole lot to deal with. We think about it, when you think about it from that perspective, you don't really got a lot to deal with. You just got to make sure you're good manager, right? You're a good manager of your money, right? That's all it is, managing your money. So if it's $10, $1, 50 cents, 30 cents, 100, a million, 10,000, whatever, if you manage it properly, best of your ability, then under the rules of engagement, you should do well. Right. So yeah, this space is obviously under fire because of the CDC, WHO, all that stuff, telling people, advising people about traveling on these cruise lines and all that. They're getting bad press at this point. Again, they topped that around 21 course in that regard. So of course on the daily chart, ever since that point, that pinnacle, you've been kind of downhill bob sales, sliding a little bit, right? If you just throw a little, little checks and balances on that right now at the gate, we'll just bring it down here to the 20-day moving average here. In this regard, you kind of see what's going on here. It's fighting to kind of get above ground, at least come down. It's going to test that 20-day moving average here, potentially. But it ain't hard to gauge money because all you say is, okay, if that's the case, I see what's going on here, right? I'm just going to do this here. I'm going to come down to a point of equilibrium where I feel like this, the chart, has the ability to kind of bounce at around. And from here, I just played, cleanup woman. And the cleanup woman, right? Now, not the cleanup man, but the cleanup woman.
That's exactly how I have that, yeah.
Right. And so you just playing into all this, right? So you either gonna come down to establish a falling wedge, or you're gonna bounce at around this point here. That's when you can kind of make it more micro, split this thing down the middle, play these little pivots, play the 20 moving average, play these little old points here. It's all relevant, is my point, of course. But that's what's going to help you be comfortable in your decision. So you don't feel like you're guessing, right? Or, of course, every now and then a little luck does happen in your favor too, but it's not a strategy that we all that we use.
No,
we're
I
gonna use.
wasn't using luck as a strategy.
Yeah,
Just
no,
saying
I know
that.
you
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
But I'm just saying that when people hear that, you don't want people. People like, well, no.
True, true.
Y'all don't get that what we say when we say it. It's different when we say it, right? Sometimes you need a little algo to go a little haywire and dump it right on the 5 minute. Right? You consider that luck or whatever. We'll take it because we just saw our option to go ballistic right to the green real quick. But outside of that, our strategy was already in play first, right? First and foremost. Right. So yeah, that's what we're looking at, man. So a lot of these sectors again going to be, treading water until they can They can swim, right? Or they're gonna sink, or they're gonna swim, one or the other. But next year is gonna be again a great year for reckoning.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of like the gamble mode. I'm not going into any gambling mode. I'm just doing a little bit at a time, just so I could see things like this. And this kind of is easy, like an easy decision, to make as far as doing a put on that a long one, to give me time for that to come down some more.
Well, you know me, because I'm always gonna be the first to tell you now, because as we say, discipline first, right? Knowing the rules. So as a PSA to our sister, I was explaining her scenario, right? We're gonna be, definitely purveyors of, using these things to our advantage, right? Our rules of the game. What better time to have that conversation, right? Because everybody got to realize is going into next year, things may become a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more tighter in some aspects. So a lot of these old school rules that we kind of came up with when we learned, coming up, they're going to be useful for next year to help you be more be well positioned, right? So of course, if you just, run down this really quick, if we go through this real quick, let me move that out the way so we can see this whole thing here. All right. So it's saying rule number 1, right? All right. So I'm gonna get the family involved here. I'm sorry to put y'all to work, but all right. I love this stuff because we're a family for that reason. So somebody give me rule number 1 real quick. Somebody read that for me real quick. And anybody.
Can I read it? I'll read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Rule number 1: preserve capital. Do whatever you have to do to defend and protect this precious and limited resource.
Now, self-explanatory, is it not? So
Yes.
Consider your money like your soldiers on the battlefield. Again, if you send in the war with one army boot, some umbrella, a water pistol, look, they finna get the head knocked off, right? It's unprepared. So you have to make sure you preserve your soldiers on the battlefield thoroughly, right? And make sure they have, a general purpose. So you have to preserve your capital in the right way. In that regard, also finding, capital to be able to use as well, right? Again, cutting back on, excessive spending on things that you don't necessarily need, right? Even some of your wants, right? If it's not a dire situation, that money is more well suited to, to go out there and gain bigger money, right? So that's important. So we want to make sure these are great rules that we use going into 2022. And some of you guys already noticed it, but it's good to have a refresher, right? So that's important.
Yeah,
right?
when I had cleared a lot of my account when I made that travel, but what I promised myself, I said I'm not putting anything else into there. If it's like whatever I make from that, I reinvest it. I might move it around, trade it within there. So that's why I'm being really disciplined with myself, so that, like you said, by next year I have certain habits in that are solidified and reinforced, and those plays would be stronger. Yeah.
Facts, right? Because a great rubric, it helps you stay disciplined, right? So having something like this around, like in your personal trading space, is monumental, right? We came up in that space where you had to have these things around you at all times. They used to tell you, no, have your disciplinary, creeds and covenants around you at all times when you go into the market. Why? Because it's easy to fall back into humanistic characteristics to understand that you can be laissez-faire about your reality. And the markets don't care about all that, right? Markets going to do what they're going to do based upon people that's driving it, which is the big money. And so we have to make sure we, realize that and say, no, let me make sure I stay on, stay focused here, because things can get away, sometimes like really quick, so it may be great. So this is something that, I'm going to share with the group. We already have it, but, great to have these things around you. You may can get it and print it out and keep it in your wallet or your purse. Right? Just have it near you. That way you realize that this is a journey, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. You want to make good decisions every day you can when it comes to your money, right? Your revenue, your resource, which is limited, right? Right? Until we can get that Floyd Mayweather money, right? and buy a watch, for $21 million, wherever that last watch he bought. I saw somebody posted somewhere on one of the social sites. He bought a new watch for himself, and it was like, I think it was what, over 10 million, something like that, for a watch.
Wow.
A watch.
I think it was more than that. I think it was about 100 million.
Some crazy in them. I know it was crazy. Like all that to tell time, family. That's all I'm saying. Ain't that much time worth the time. But again, that's coming from a person that obviously, whatever. That's just my perspective, right? And so if he got it, he can do what he wants, as one would say, right? But we know that's a bad investment. Let's be honest, right? We ain't stupid, and we're not gonna placate that with anybody for them to feel like that's what you should aspire
Well,
for.
on his end, because he's a player, what he buys, because he put his name on it when he's at a certain time in his career, because he's still, high in his career, he could put that money on it, and that object is gonna gain value, just like having any values. That's why they were saying there was some article that was saying that, what was it? I don't want to say NFT. I want to say something like a trading card. Something people put in money into these things like collectible items will be more lucrative than a stock during this time, because those things are always going to accumulate value.
Right.
Yeah,
And
at the end of the day, he leased. I mean, he didn't buy that cat. He's leasing that. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not paying he didn't pay $100 million for that. He's probably paying a portion of that, and it was about publicity and those type of things.
Right. I mean, it could be a many different facets of it, but the reality is, of course, in a mindset that which we all know, even if we know that, because again, we understand that even in the commodity market as a whole, if you think about these rarities or whatever, right? The only things that hold value are things that are more easy to be kind of pulled apart and being able to be kind of broken down and sold at a point where you can get that appreciating value for, or at least break even on it. Right. When you go into the customization, a lot of things, that's when it starts losing value, right? It just has a sentimental value because you customize it for your value, right? So that has to be taken into consideration even when you buy high dollar items too. And I'm gonna say that because I got a little watch. I ended up getting appraised, right? I got a little watch I got back in the day with some diamonds in it, and I kept it, as was for the fact that if it has an appreciating value, I'm not gonna mess it up. I still got that watch, so
plain Jane.
I learned early on. I didn't know, but I learned along the way. So I got my appraisal ticket for it, and I still got sitting in my little closet, right? And just whatever. I wear every blue moon, but that's the matter when I realized the importance of it, right? As opposed to just being for show. Can it hold value, right? Because if not, it's just for the moment. And ain't nothing wrong with people buying stuff for the moment too. Live your life. However, of course, as an investor now, the investor in me always gonna say, man, that's a dumb investment. Why? Because the first thing I'm gonna say in me, just me now, of course, when I get my hair done it, I'm gonna take that 100 million, whatever it was worth value or whatever he put on it, and I'm gonna go, I'm gonna pull a Nancy Pelosi move, right? I'm gonna go all in on some options. I'm gonna flip that, 5 or 6 times over, and then maybe if I want to go buy, I'll be buying it on what they call house money. All right, but that's just me. Not to say he ain't buying on house money, right? But y'all get what I'm saying. So shout out to Money Floyd. Whatever. It's weird too because I saw something the other day where I leave that alone. They him and that Jake Paul dude, he put Floyd out there in a very derogatory way, But Floyd, be doing some wild stuff, right? I don't know if y'all saw that picture with Floyd looking like he in some boxes, now he using some briefs with a Fendi coat on and some Fendi boots somewhere in Europe with ashy knees, everything. Couldn't make this stuff. I said, bruh. Come on, don't do the fam like that. Don't be out there like that, right? So, but anyway, moving on. So so rule number two. Somebody give me rule number 2. Anybody?
Rule number 2: plan your trade. Trade the plan. Only apply risk when the odds are significantly in your favor.
All right. So again, same way, seems very self-explanatory there, right? Plan your trade the plan, only apply risk when the odds are significantly in your favor. See that last sentence right there, odds, when apply risk when the odds are significantly in your favor. Well, that right there eliminates the ideal of it just being what? Look, because you have to have a strategy to put it into practice and say, well, these are the variables, right, that it potentially, or headwinds or variables that may be in play. When you eliminate majority of that, that gives you more of a conviction, right? That way that trade obviously has more teeth, in play. as opposed to saying, I'm gonna just see what sticks. I'm gonna trade this because I think somebody else bought it. And I think I could do just as good as the next person because I saw them posted. They posted the trade, and it don't work that way, right? Because why? Because entry is everything. Entry is everything, especially in the market. So this is important to understand that you have to have your own plan, right? And you have to put it together in a way where it suits you and your reality, right? Your time, your money, right? Your understanding. Simple as that. You know, some of the base core things you have to kind of go through before you put a trade in play, right? So some people say technical analysis or fundamental analysis and investor sentiment, right? If not one that's stronger than the other, at least 2 out of the 3. That's my whole motto, right? I said if you can't at least check down at least 2 of those boxes and folks, you know, then don't take the trade, right? You know, that's just me though, how where I roll, but that's that's good to know because that's what's going to help preserve your money. Right. So rule number 3, I'll read that one. So if you doubt the relevance, right, the relevance of a rule or whether you should follow your rules this time, see rule number 1 and rule number 2, right? So revert back, right, to 1 and 2. If you doubt the relevance of any rule, whether you should follow it or you shouldn't. Notice it said this time because you can't cherry pick when you want to be disciplined. Why? Because the market's going to bite your head off. Right? It's going to hit you in the back with a billy club if you don't. It's going to test your ability to be out there, chancing it, and you shouldn't be chancing it. So when it happens, you can't, blame it on nobody but yourself. So that's why it's important to be disciplined as possible. Now, you could take an L with dignity. It happens. Nobody's 100% in the market, right? We know that it's a game of, of understanding the variables in that regard, but we're just trying to keep our win ratios higher than that of the average person, which puts you in a winning, profitable perspective, right? So, yeah, Warren Buffett takes L's, right? Charlie Munger takes L, right? People, name your favorite investors, they take L's too, right? Because it's not an exact science. It's not, right? A race car driver takes L. Your football team takes L. Your basketball team takes L's. Y'all get it. But so, stay disciplined as much as possible. So be disciplined and rigorous in your rules and flexible in your expectations, right? That's very important. Flexible in your expectations because you don't want to get ahead of yourself. And you don't want to get too far ahead of the stock because that could be problematic too, because you could be just too early, a little too early, right? And now that capital that you got, invested in this could be put somewhere else that could be more lucrative for you at the moment until that idea pans out, right? So that's important too. So be flexible in your expectations, right? So very important there. All right. So rule number 4. Anybody can read that again? Anybody can read that for me real quick. Rule number 4.
Never. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Rule number 4. Never use scared money for trading. I'm sorry. Sacred money for trading.
No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good. So that's important. All right, I'm gonna stop you there for 2 seconds, right? Sacred money. So if I was to ask you real quick, what is sacred money? What is sacred money to you, over Marquise?
Sacred money is money that is reserved for other things that like your responsibilities.
All right. So bills, right? Notes and cars and stuff like that, right? Stuff that that you need to keep your necessities, in place. You know what I'm saying? So that's important because who wants to be out there doing, pulling the AMC? And I got to come at the apes for a second, right? Because I know a lot of these apes out there that did mortgages and all that just to be an AMC. And they was buying at $40, $50, $60 or $70 a share of refinancing their mortgages and going all in on AMC because they got caught up in the movement and they thought they could override that of the game of Wall Street. And a lot of those guys right now are feeling like, bro, yeah. Since we talked about that earlier about how the stock was selling off, but another conversation for another day, but that's the reality. That never use sacred money for trading, right? It's not important. It's not that serious is my point. You can always wait, right, until you can feel comfortable. All right, so go ahead, Ob. I'm sorry.
This is money you need for rent, gas, kids' braces, etc. Sacred money. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go. I'm just saying, right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred money is sacred money. Both of these are.
Well, sacred money is
scared money. Okay.
Yeah, they threw it around a little bit. It got me too.
Sometimes.
That's all right. No, it's good because that's good because how they have it set up like that is to really get you like, okay, let me see what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Sacred
open
money is scared money. Both of
Mm.
these are cursed, damned, jinxed, etc., and are likely to lose.
See, so they're basically telling you that what sacred money is scared money, right? You have to look at it as just that. If you use it, right? If you use that sacred money, what's gonna happen? Right? You're gonna bomb right on them
It's gonna
Tesla call
corrupt
options.
it's gonna corrupt your soul.
Right? All that, right? Yeah, you're gonna get a flat tire on the way to try to get back to the house to trade. Everything can happen, right? Your mule gonna break down on you, right? Your mule he broke loose off the rain and took off in the woods. You're like, bro, you can't even get to all that quake out there hurting right now. You gonna have to walk through the rest of the house. And you ain't got no service, right? You ever been trying to get in the trade so bad and you hit a dry spot on the Wi-Fi server and you can't get into the trade because everything locked? I've had that happen. I ain't lying. And I'll say, you know what? Maybe that's good, good energy, good omen, whatever you want to call it, right? Maybe that's the ancestor. I don't know. But that's reality though. That's a part of our existence too as humans, sentient beings. We know the rules out there. We know what we're playing with. So make sure that your sacred money is not, your investment trade money.
Yeah,
Because
it's hard. It's hard to be using that sacred money and be at your equilibrium or be in my eye.
Yep, that great point. The point, right? The baseline point within that. Because you know it's gonna be on your head too. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I'm sorry. Hey, Marquise, can you say it again one time?
I was just saying it's hard to be at your equilibrium or be at my eye. And trade because your emotions are going to be excited one way or the other, and because you're going to constantly think about the hypothetical of what's going to happen if it doesn't go right.
That's true. That's definitely facts. Yeah.
And it's gonna be held over your head because you was the only one in charge of this moment. You can't even pass blame or buck off to nobody too. You're going to eat that crow. Ooh, boy, that's a hard one there. Been there, done that, did that. It's like, man, okay. I could flip this real quick. I could do this right now. You say, no, you might want to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business, right? Live to fight another day, right? At least to the point where, like you say, you balance and you can live in your consciousness is clear. You feel good about your situation. Again, you're not pulling the AMC move. Again, shots fired to the apes out there. No, ain't trying to come at you like that. But that's what a lot of them did, right? They went out and took loans. They went out there and maxed out their credit cards to buy shares of AMC. I know these stories because I sat in a lot of them forums and hear people talk about it, and I'm like, wow. And a lot of them are underwater, real. And all they could do is just try to play the game of that. They got it all control. That this thing is going to bounce to go to 100,000. That's their whole marquee reality. They think the stock going to go to 100,000, and they refuse to sell until it goes to 100,000. And you hear them on some of these message boards saying either it's going to zero. I'm either going to ride it to zero, or I'm gonna take it to the grave or the casket with me. Like what? Like wait, what? Like who giving you this information? Who? But we know who's responsible for that, right? A lot of these people on these, again on YouTube, many others out there got these guys all jacked up because they came into the game under necessity because of COVID, right? But they didn't get all the stuff that that we profess over here, which is what education, right? We don't do luck. We ain't finna be out here gambling. We ain't finna be out here. We're not a signal service. We don't do that over here because we understand that knowledge brings power. Power equals profit. You can't skip the education and go straight to getting the bag. I'm sorry. That luck, aperture, that root bag, rabbit foot, whatever you got, turtle ankle, it ain't gonna hold water and long-term growth, right? It ain't gonna hold water. So you got to be understanding of that, because if you come over here thinking we just gonna throw you tickets, no, not today. Right, so we don't work like that. What's going on, Sister Monica in the building? Birthday girl in the house. Shout out to Sister Monica Earth Day. They out there with that palm trees and Mai Tai drinks and coconuts with a straw on the island somewhere, kicking back, making money,
showing.
Right? Living a better life, right? Y'all seen in the background. She gave you a little snippet back there. Don't get your feelings. What's going on? Even Tamika in the building. See you too. What's going on?
I'm about to go out in the water.
Oh, now
get out. See, look at that.
Y'all flexing on his arm.
Look at that.
What food though?
Hey, little investment could do for you.
I got to put the camera on you for a hot second. I got to let the real see you in your element right now. Y'all see that, sister? Y'all see it, right? Y'all see it. Happy what? Y'all see it with the Cancun visor, looking like Mother Nature.
Oh, she's going on the yacht. Oh,
go ahead.
Bad. Just a little bit.
You deserve it. You work hard.
I know that's
you
right.
you work hard, so again, we understand the value in hard work because she's is showing you the benefit of that, right? Putting a
Yeah.
plan together, and now she
Yep.
gets to reap the reward of that, right?
Woo
So
woo. And
this is why we
investing.
excited about this stuff,
Hey,
man. Shout out to Sister Monica, right?
woo woo. And I wanted to ask you, listen, I had so I'm here, I gotta always find a way to write off my trip, right?
Oh, no doubt. See, that's again business minded. See, even in
Yeah, so I'm
vacation,
here with a
business.
few government employees, and
Mm-hmm.
they have, hold on, I gotta put it where I can hear. They have the TSP plan. I was trying to figure out. I went looking up the
Ah,
ticker because they were putting their money in the seed fund, and they were
yep,
talking about how much money they made in it,
yep.
and I was like, well, let me go figure this out. They was like, what you doing? I said, I'm trying to find a ticker to see if I can get in, but of course it's a part of the
It's
spy, but I can't get in. Can I get in that?
No, it's strategic, right? Because basically, who the fund value or whoever they use as the fund
Yeah,
manager for the TSP, they're under that. Because
yeah,
I had to do that for my household, right? Through
right.
through the military one in the house, and we assessed that at a point
Mhm.
where the market was always in an inflection point, like because you can
Yeah.
rearrange it, right? You don't have to keep it the
Yes.
same. It's like
Yup.
like a 401k. You can
Yep.
assess your risk value, what you want to kind of be in terms of volatility or risk period.
Right.
And so they got the C, they got the D, and many others.
Right.
I might need to go through that
It's
one day.
like
Pull up.
right because it's like 4 or 5 of them, and
Yep.
the one she had somebody's assess hers, and man had to move that money around. And you talk about making them dollars. I say, man, why ain't nobody tell me this while I was
Weird. We talked about it a while back on one of our Urban Empowerment show, but it probably wasn't as whatever. And I've talked about
right,
it every now and then intermittently, but it's not enough.
right,
Like you said, because how the stuff go. The once
right,
you get more knowledge about markets, like obviously in your
right,
case, you take it to the next level. Now you're gonna start being even more strategic, right? With stuff like
right.
that, right? Not just your day-to-day action or your long-term outlook, but definitely your retirement stuff or your nest egg investments.
Yes,
You're gonna put all that stuff into action way better than like I'm always saying. Let me show you how to
yes,
outperform a what
yes.
a 529 plan. Let me show you how to
Yes,
outperform
the
a money
savings
market account.
account. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, when they said that, I sure went looking at mine. I said, okay, I may not be able to get in that one, but I know I got a couple ETFs out here that's doing some things. I need to go in.
Yeah.
Yes,
See?
they doing it, and so the other ones who were at the table, we was like it's 12 of us, and I think 6 of us are retired military, and 5 of us work for the military, and so are for DOD. And shoot, they all start pulling out them TSPs. Like, what I gotta do again?
Yep.
Shoot, they was like, well, how'd you, man? And then so I pulled up the index, and I was looking across, the G, the C, the F, and all that. And I was looking at the percentage returns, and she was right. That C fund was kicking butt last month. I
Yep.
was like, wow. She said,
And
yeah, my
it give you a
thing went up
breakdown of what's
30,000.
in it. Yeah, so you can see,
That's what I was looking for, the breakdown of what was in it.
So yeah, we're gonna have to do we'll do one on it. Right.
Yeah.
Whenever you comfortable and get back, we'll put that in. We do either do it through the Urban Economic Empowerment, or we'll just do it on one of my shows. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That
Because
works
that's going
out.
to help because we talk about Roth, we talk about TSP, we talk
Right.
about 401ks. Now it's
Right.
even good to know exactly how to even manage it yourself. Again, you are your own
Yes.
fund manager. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we definitely need a show on that, brother, African Emporium, because I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that you can even move, your 401k. I thought, it's kind of locked into the way they do it. So I know plenty of people. I mean, they just like as soon as you say, "Do you invest?" They say, "Yeah, I got a 401k at TSP," and you're like, "Okay, what do where's your money? What fund is it in?" They're like, "I don't know. It's
Right.
managed by this company or it's
See?
managed by DOD."
We ain't doing another show until you send me my stuff.
What's Oh my
Uh-oh, shots fired. Over
God.
Christian came in with that with that
The
9
hammer.
milli with the banana clip.
He done put the hammer down. He done put
What
the
it do? What it do, man? What it
What's
do?
going on over? What's going on?
What's
Hey
going
Chris,
on,
look,
Chris?
I'm about to make you mad. Hold on.
Peace, y'all.
Look what I did, Chris. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, I forgot how to.
You better not even show that. What?
You seen it? Y'all seen it
Yeah.
first. Exclusive, right? Exclusive, right? Tat
Mo,
it up.
you showing out.
Tat
I'm
it
coming.
You
up.
showing out.
Hey, listen, I turned 45. I've
Young
got a
woman.
new year and a new boo. Oh, it's about to be over in 2022.
See,
Didn't we just
all
talk about this at the last Cancun trip?
We did. I told you I was gonna get one, right? Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's all there in the bag of chips, and everything you said I did not do. So he's secured. He's secured.
Okay.
See, profit secure Elon Musk style, right? It's
Yes,
a fun
right.
security.
Hey,
That's
hey,
beautiful.
let me tell you how it's secured, Chris. You know the first conversation I had was about investments, right? So we already got a plan to build already. And listen, if you most men are scared to talk about money, you know. We come out the
Right.
gate with it. We got an investment plan already. He's like, you need to get back on your shows and get back and get in them classes because we gonna need this money.
Facts,
See,
We
facts.
need this
see,
info. Yep. Grow,
Yeah,
learn,
'cause
build together. And if you
we
know you already
power.
understand.
got a business.
Now we know why you were falling asleep in class all the time. It's because
No,
you was giving it to him.
Hey,
no,
you know how they when you
no.
Yeah,
get that new boo, new you, you just be on the phone,
yeah.
you let the phone fall asleep on you. Yeah, I'm gonna go sleep with you tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna go sleep with you too. I'm gonna let it roll off. You get no sleep.
No, Chris, it was an accident. It was an accidental encounter.
uh,
It was an
yeah.
accidental
Uh-huh.
encounter. I'm
Won't he
telling
do
Yeah.
it?
you.
Won't he do it? See,
Hey, say
that's it.
it
Won't he
again.
do
Say
it?
it again.
What that church music right there?
It's a good accident, huh?
Won't he do it?
That was
uh-uh.
a good
Hey,
accident, huh?
nah, he a good conscious. He's a good conscious brother. I secured that. We got my eye all day. That
All
was
right, that's
one in a
good.
million right there. Don't worry about it. We gonna secure these. We gonna get it right.
They tried to take your brother out, man.
What
I've
happened?
been. Uh, they almost tried to get me with the COVID, man.
You got
God, oh.
COVID?
No, I just got sick. I ain't get it.
Oh,
They
Cheryl
trying to.
in Georgia, Cheryl's husband Job had 50 people with COVID, so they got sick. I don't think she getting no COVID, but I know they got sick, and a couple other people in Georgia got sick. I don't know, Texas.
Yeah,
That
I've
new
been. I've,
that new one, man. It's
I've
spreading.
been down all week. All week I've been down, getting beat down to the
Yeah, I know
ground.
you were kind of, kind of recluded a little bit. I said, yeah, probably had some business and whatever, but it's that season. It's weird too because I just posted something earlier today about, of course, it's obvious flu season, right? On top of the virus season, right? So I saw some mess the other day, and I'm like, what's this? Now they got this new junk called Flow Roller. Well, what's this?
Yes.
Well, it's the flu mixed with corona because you can obviously have both, right? Because obviously they still a part of SARS-CoV-2 family, right? These,
Yep.
Yeah,
respiratory illnesses, yeah, you can get both, right? The same way, like most
Yep.
people who have comorbidities or illnesses, where if you catch like pneumonia what takes people out, right? They already
Right.
kind of got low immunes, right? So you get the
hmm
flu and you can catch COVID, right? But you definitely
Yes.
don't want to get pneumonia, right? Because if you get pneumonia, it's wrap.
That's a wrap. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
wrap. And
yeah.
it
you
sprays
out of
so
there.
fast. That happened to my friend. He caught it from he was cutting a young boy hair, and he caught it. He couldn't go to the doctor. And then when he got there, they wouldn't give him the antibiotics because they was like, oh, he's young. He's probably gonna bounce back.
Man,
Shoot, that pneumonia kicked in the next day. That was a wrap. He was
ooh,
gone. 3 days. Bam, out of
man.
there.
Dang, that's
45.
crazy.
Yep. Yep. That pneumonia ain't no joke. Yeah, y'all hear our brown liquor music in the background?
Oh, y'all getting it. Y'all got that Erkin Jerk, Palmer Son, that Henny, that Yak,
That
that brown
tequila
music,
with the
that brown liquor
worm.
music. Oh, it's good.
It's time for me to go back home, though. I've been
You
going
want to
too
give
Where
them?
I
long.
put my phone at?
You want me to give her?
It's
Well,
been 2 weeks.
in front of Dunkin' Donuts.
Hold on. Oh, you got
Yeah,
business.
I'll be back. But hey, we got to do a health show. I got to get on my eating now. I got to fix it.
I got you. Because I we just talking about that earlier when I first came out. So you know what,
Yep.
how it is with this kind of, the kind of,
Yep.
square record. New me, knew all that, New Year stuff. And
Yep.
I was just saying, you know what, again, we're gonna break that mold a little bit, right?
Yep.
And a part of what we learned through our disciplinary actions of being better investors, it actually it pretty much translates into your life choices too, right? It
Yes.
helps you be more conservative in a lot of things that we typically wouldn't necessarily care about because we were more conservative by nature of wanting to be best
Yep.
represented. You see what I'm saying? So if
Yep.
it's his health and his wealth or whatever, it really does translate into your overall being. As we used to talk this stuff way back in 2017. Remember, I just said, like, hey,
Yep.
this is gonna follow you for the rest of life. It helps your back end of your life. The other part of your life gets better too, because you learn how to organize better, compartmentalize information better. You learn more in this space. Because look, I mean, look at all the health companies out there. You learn a lot. Based is my point.
Yes.
But anyway, you're right. That's going to be a main focus, for the next year too. Matter of fact, I was looking at some other stocks out there, not stocks, but even investments in the space, like seed investments. The same way how we pulled up like Start Engine, and we were looking at stuff like Jet Token and all that stuff, and Ice all that stuff. It's stuff out there already. People still coming to the space. We already know we headed there, right? So,
and you put the chair.
Yeah, already. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick since since we're talking about that. I'm already out there planning ahead. So this little company here, right? Well, that's the growth stock one, but they got one. What's the company? I just closed it out. It's called GTFO. It's a vegan startup scenario, and just pulling it up. I must have closed it out, but I'll pull it back up in a minute. Anyway, but that's a part of what we do too, because it's a part of the game plan. You see what I'm saying? It can have that parallel between your life and what this has to offer in that regard. So I'm excited, man, because these things are going to be really good, because you can apply it to something too on a financial side, as opposed to just a physical thing. You can say, well, I got my money also into, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what has happened. So the since we about to do this transition and we're gonna do it together, the help he's like, well, he knew about Beyond Meat. But I said, yeah, we gotta know what to buy. So I was like, I know just the person. We need a grocery list.
Oh, already. Right? You ain't got to think twice. I already got you.
Yep. Grocery list. We gotta get this thing right, because when they're told, hey, if this work out right, you gotta walk down the aisle. You can't roll, Mo. So.
Hey, you can do it, and ain't nothing like you ain't already built for it. You already built for it. You know what I'm saying? In this regard, because again, you have extensive military career. You know what that was like. You have extensive, collegiate, athletic, side of that too. So again, a lot of this stuff is already, you already have what it takes. Is my point. Right. I should say, and
first workout this morning.
Yeah, so. I'm like, look, a lot of this stuff is gonna be just, pretty much set in motion by you guys just going out there, making things happen. Just doing what you normally do it as if you would have did it, in any aspect, of a situation.
Discipline definitely leads the way.
Facts, and so we'll get on top of it. We'll make it, what it, we'll make it do what it's supposed to do. I'll tell you that much, what I'm saying? Based upon, you'll have a way that you can track it, what I'm saying? Because you're already behind it, right? You're already, behind, obviously, from a project perspective. And you can show people how you was able to, to do the transition, what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
By using the company.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
And in some cases, you say the product or whatever, but like the same way, Oberchris does with the shoes, right?
Yep.
Ain't no denying that, right? So a hobby became a what? An investment.
It definitely became a lucrative investment.
Yeah.
And get ready with them Schedule C's.
You know what I'm saying? Facts.
I'm starting the year off with it.
Yep. Yep. I'm already loaded up.
And I ain't about to even be doing all these repeating. Y'all gonna be watching the video. Hit the video, because here you go. Should have been in class.
And
we own it.
Supposed to been doing classes since September.
No,
I'm trying to hear you, Mo.
In January, I had to take a break. I had to get my life together. Being there for everybody else, and I had forgot about me too.
Well, you making moves, and but you paid it forward in a good way. Because along the way you sharpen your, still sharpen still in that regard too. So, it's starting to work itself out, in that regard, in the same breath. So, like you said, now it's time for you to really, turn it inward more so on yourself, and the rest is history.
Because I can do it. I can really,
Like what?
I did really last year, January. Yeah, January to March, I lost 45 pounds, 3 inches. So I figured this year, knowing that I can make the transition, that it would actually be even better. Because I'm gonna
Black beans.
Obviously, you gotta
Yeah.
give up them. Obviously.
Yeah.
Where would it be? The
Yeah,
little part.
yeah, you got it. Oh, over Chris. That was
Should
over.
be over here.
I got him. Yeah, and he handling business like you were handling business. So yeah, but no, you're right. That's all it is. It's just making that
I'm
parallel
ready. Ooh,
transition.
that right there.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like one of them, and this other. I'm still doing some research on it, but cause same way I was like, y'all remember I beat the drum on what Beyond Meat, right? Remember before it came out, I was over that stock, that IPO like 2 years in advance before it even came out. And when it came out, of course, like anything of a high value, it did well, or it went from 45 up to basically to the to the moon, right? Now it came back to earth, right? It's doing this kind of okay. Now we have to stand for, not so much an artificial story, but more of a primary, value here, of a balanced valuation, and now it's starting to kind of solidify itself by getting the natural contracts that it's need. So that space is still a version of space, even though it seems like they're cracking it open. But the top dogs in the space going to have to really prove themselves, and that's going to be good for the system, the system as a whole, right? Again, weed out the weak ones from the strong, and so assets like that within that space where we're talking about, they already kind of align with your interests. Of course, this aligns with my interests, right? Because again, health is wealth. So it's just like Beyond Meat was that kind of story, and I'm loving Beyond Meat back around these prices here because they're starting to solidify themselves with those contracts. Here's another one right here that's been out for a minute. It just started doing fundraising, right? This is a regular CF offering value here. You see they already got a 40 million val on it right at this point. It's early, of course. It's early, right? I'm not telling people to go invest in this, do your own research and due diligence, but I'm just speaking about interest value investments, right? The same way you say to yourself, if the minimum investment is like $200, like per se, I'm willing to see that, work given the aspect of, the space, if it can, materialize into something great. Then from there you figure out, what do they have already out there that works in their favor, right? Are they already in business? They already have distribution. They already have, partners and players in their space. Well, this one does, right? Because it does what? It's a wholesaler, right? It's online retail, wholesale distribution, curated vegan and plant-based foods, right? So the space is starting to grow, right? We already know about Dr. Foods, right? We know we banged that one, right? We got it above a penny, right? From double zero digits from triple zero digits all the way over a penny, right? It topped at around about four plus, whatever, right? Okay, now that space is starting to really, solidify the bosses in that place, right? We know Impossible Burger yet to come, right? We're waiting on them. Outside of that, it's just the restaurants who want to have that to add to their menu, right? So McDonald's, right? Some of the larger chains, KFC, whomever, Hardee's, whomever, these are going to be the people who are going to what? Outfit them, right? So I'm not going to the niche player who got that, just the product alone. Are you a wholesaler, distributor? I want to see that because that means you have better pipeline, right? So this company already does that, and they've been around for a little second, right? So GTFO, just one a minute, right? I'm not telling anybody to invest in this, do your own research, just whatever, all right? But these are what they call OPOs. This is not even an IPO yet; it's still at a startup phase, right? So this is how people who've gotten in on Snapchat. Now, I'm not saying this Snapchat, but y'all know what I'm saying. This is what you say. This is what you do when you say, okay, I got 200 to put away or 1,000 to put it. I can let it sit and let this thing come in the free valuation or future, evaluation value. And in turn, they could be a player in the space. Especially at some point if they go public. That'll be a great starter, right? A great starter position where you can sit 3, 4 years, 5 years of that. Even if it even take that long, and let that money roll over, turn over. All right. So it's little stuff like that. So that's just what they call investing in your interests, whatever. So Start Engine is definitely a site I've been using for years. Like I already got stuff, in Start Engine I've been investing in for years. And by way of my, entry of the share value of what those investments were, they're already up, right? Some of them I can't close out, some of them I can, but like if I already got into them with the understanding I want them to sit and let it grow, and then at some point they go public, then whatever at that point, then I'm fine with that, right? So Jet Token was another one that we talked about. Even though I had a stake to put into place at a time when I was trying to get in at one of the rounds, and I missed it because of things happening. right? But they're back to doing another round. Of course, there's many others out there like that, right? But again, use case is everything. So we look at these things as growth opportunities here and there. Oh, sorry about that, Sister Mo. We look for growth opportunities here and there. So once they pop and they happen, guess what? We in there, right? So that's what I'm saying. Invest in your interest, do your research, and the rest is history. All right. So just thought I'd share that one there. But Start Engine, guys, if you're new to Start Engine, might go check them out. Matter of fact, I think Kevin O'Leary ended up taking them over. He ended up becoming the controlling interest in it. Because again, think about Shark Tank. A lot of those companies on Shark Tank, actually, some of them came through Start Engine too. Some of them came through other aspects of startups like that, right? These startup engines like that. So yeah, so there's many ways that you can invest, guys, without having to go through the traditional IPO or SPAC. You can get in this stuff and called pre-IPO, right? Like who knew? Well, we did, right? This is our lane, right? We're constantly looking for opportunity, and opportunities like that. All right. So yeah, guys. So man, hey, 2021, what a year, going into next year. So, putting together some new plans, some new ideas for everybody, getting into our health and wealth cycle even more, right? That's going to be monumental. So definitely, Sister Mo, in that perspective too, we might need to get back, go fire up the old crew again in that regard. So, I get the ear with them if they want to participate. When we was trying to do it on the Deck Squad channel, we'll invigorate the crew that was in that space and start something in that regard. So I think that's be great for the community anyway. So already in the works, as I should say, right? So we look forward to that. So outside of that, guys, I know y'all were, ready. Y'all enjoyed this year. Again, just going back to our rules real quick. We'll finish out the rules real quick that we was talking about earlier. So when we stay, cognizant of what we're trying to accomplish here, to not lose focus of that, because a lot of people, again, this is what's going to be able to save you, right? So as Open Marquis, read rule number 4, that last one, right there was very important. So never use sacred money for trading. This is money you need for rent, gas, kids, braces, etc. Sacred money is scared money. Both of these are cursed, damn, jinx, etc., and are likely to lose. So again, realize what you're working with, the rules surrounding that. So that way, at least you can have a clean conscience when you jump out the window, right? So we doing this stuff with some discipline, right? And we don't do luck, right? We don't do luck. Luck is not a strategy, or hope is not a strategy, right? So, it's best to have proper knowledge, proper understanding, so you can have better risk management, right? Or risk mitigation, right? So that's important. So last rule number 5. Anybody want to read that for me real quick? What's rule number 5? Anybody on the panel want to read that rule number 5 for your brother? Going once, going twice. Boy, Jokers must be getting ready for the new year. They popping bottles early. All right,
I got you, over.
Thank you, over. Thank you.
Rule number 5: if you are trading randomly and or emotionally, stop, regroup, and then try again.
Damn,
there is
right
only
there. Hold up, one second. My bad, over. I have to stop right there like the Hebrews do. Hold up. We gotta bring that back like the Hebrews. Hold up. I had my Captain Zarya moment right now, but hold up, man. I gotta get that understanding. So, so read that first sentence again, if you mind, over.
If you are trading randomly and or emotionally, stop, regroup, and try again.
That right there, that little first one right there is everything. That first sentence is everything, is it not? Boy, y'all know as well as I know. We all been down that road right there. Right? Because it's human condition. It's human, interaction that allows us to have that kind of level of, discovery, right? And sometimes it ain't just, intentional. It's just our value of discovery, right? Some people say naivete. I'm gonna just say it's just our ability, of discovery, right? We like that, that thrill of seeking, what it will be, because I feel a certain way. I think that this is going to be, something great because of this, right? But we didn't really take it the full extent of figuring out what all the rules of engagement were, what all the variables were. We just felt good about it, right? So feelings alone does not equate to what? Profit. So we realized that discipline obviously equals dollars, right? As we say, due diligence and discipline equals dollars. So emotions don't fare well in markets. Why? Because markets don't respect emotions. It respect money. And money don't have feelings attached to it. It has a purpose, an agenda, a direction of value that it wants to go when people are submitted in that perspective. And more people submit into that perspective at that moment, well, guess who's going to win that battle? Those who are against it or those who are for it. So that's how this stuff works. That's a side of emotions, right? Aside from emotion, right? So that's why we are very cognizant of understanding that discipline is the name of the game here, where your feelings don't matter. You can feel good about an asset for whatever reason, but you still got to have a use case, a plan, a procedure, all right? Understand that, the risks that are involved, et cetera, et cetera. When those things are in play, guess what? You make better decisions. Simple as that. So that's why that first sentence is everything. So remove the emotions going forward. So if you're struggling with that a little bit in 2021, 2022 going to be your year to break away from that. Right? I profess that, right? Not profess that, right? So we cannot instantly have that problem again. So go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Finish
and I
up
just
now.
want to add. It made me think about, it's really in sync with kind of how the market functions as well. Just thinking about the balance and imbalance that constantly happens. Like the feeling of liquidity voids and etc. Like if it hasn't gathered enough energy to break a certain level, what is going to go back to equilibrium? Try again.
Exactly.
That is true.
Definitely. So it's what it's kind of it's a fractal nature. It's one of those things that kind of exist in all facets of life, of an existence.
I agree.
Yeah, there is only one person that can make you disciplined, hold yourself accountable. I'm sorry. There is only one person that can make you be disciplined and hold yourself accountable. Be objective. If you are not in it, try again later, but don't force trades when you cannot see them.
Facts, right? That's important, right? Because guess what? We understand that this is a one-man army. You just happen to have a lot of financial battle mates already in sync with you. So we already on code together. So essentially, I feel like we fighting together. But at the end of the day, when you alone in your own corner of the world, wherever you are in control of your moment. You're in control of your shit, your trade, the share size, and the stuff, the risk. You are in control of all that. So once you realize that you are your owner operator within this space, you feel a little bit more empowered to want to make good decisions. You should, I should say, because you're the only one going to have the adverse effect to this if it don't go work out the way it's supposed to. You can't pass that blame or buck off to nobody else. Make sense? So as an executive of an online business, in this case, in terms of as an investor trader, all that onus falls back on you. And it's a good responsibility to have. Why? Because beyond those parameters, you in a position where you get to dictate what you can and cannot potentially make. And people can't discriminate against you for race, color, creed, sex, gender, orientation, midget, humpback, smurf, Hergamite, freshwater shrimp, whatever, right? It don't matter. It's you against the opposition. In this case, and that just be the market in itself, right? And in this case, you ain't really against. You're just trying to figure out how you can align yourself with all the money, right? Where the big money at? Where is the money flowing into, right? You want to find out how to, assess that and then move accordingly. So that's what I love about this stuff as well. Again, it puts you in that drive, and you can do it anywhere around the world, anywhere, as long as you have a Wi-Fi signal, laptop, cell phone, computer, tablet, right? Broadband connection, whatever, some capital and some knowledge. That's it. That's an online business model that you can't beat. You can't beat it. I don't care who you are. That's all you need to get started. Look, all right. And we just show you how the market outperformed this year. We put up the chart and showed you the sectors that outperform. So yeah, somebody making money. Somebody making some money somewhere. I mean, these numbers right here ain't by mistake. These ain't guesstimates, right? These are raw numbers, right? So 11 out of the 11, all 11 of the S&P 500 sector groups, right, gained over double digits gains in 2021. I asked you, did your money market account gain double digits? Did your savings account gain double digits? Right? Moment of silence, right? Because y'all know again, you got to understand the game for what it is and realize that asset appreciation comes through those things that have, you know, potential legs underneath them, right? A growth story ahead of them, right? That's how money and wealth, obviously, whatever is created. Simple as that. You know, so numbers don't lie in that regard. So we're excited, you know, again, to be a part of this because, again, we're trying to literally realize gains based upon good decision making. So rule number 5 is very important. So if you are trading randomly and or emotionally, stop, regroup, and try again, right? Remove the emotions, remove the luck strategy, right? The hopium strategy, and be more, persistent and wanting to be a sharper, better decision maker. Again, some questions that you may even ask, of others, you probably can already get the answer before you ask it. Why? Because you got Google like the next person. You got a YouTube account. You can go figure out a lot of answers before you ask a question, right? The conviction comes with you doing the work, not so much you asking somebody else, right? Because you'll always be dependent on somebody giving you answers if you're not willing to put in the work yourself, right? That's an aspect of emotion that's leading you to do that because you're not comfortable in your own ability to assess information. Guess what? This is going to make you the boss that you were designed to be if you struggle even with things like that. Because you got to be able to stand on good information, double testing it, back testing it, forward testing it, right? Once you learn how to do those things and it checks out, you feel so much more convicted about your decisions in the market. Boy, from line of flying, you feel so good when you can put together a good plan and it plays out the way you want it to. You be like, see, I did that, right? That's what this is about, and I'm not speaking just for the trader. I know I was talking about a lot of stuff in trade perspective, but as an investor, period, that's what's going to make you feel good about your situation. Right. So don't lose that, guys. Don't lose focus of that. Don't let people tell you different. So again, if you're new and trying to figure out how you can utilize the markets to your advantage going into 2022, then these are some of the most basic things that you can follow, right? You need to copy this. Matter of fact, if you need to copy this, I'll even send you a copy of it, right? There's many of them out there like this, but I'll send it to you. So that way you can have this near you at all times, even in your planning to get better in your education and learning this before you jump out the window and start trading with real money or investing in real money. These things are going to help guide you properly before you jump out the window. And it'll always be there to keep you in check when you get a little too ahead of yourself. Right? So very important. And the last thing, as it says down at the very bottom, right, which is a part of, the so-called, some of the colloquial sayings in the stock market is what? Buy fear and sell euphoria equals make money. I repeat, buy fear, sell euphoria equals make money. So that's how Wall Street works. They like climbing the wall of worry. And when things get too jubilee, too easy, too crazy, that's when it's time to start taking profit. Why? Because at that point, you've exhausted all the what? All the buyers. Right? Everybody's sitting on one side of the boat. Well, eventually that boat gonna tip over. Right? When everybody acquiesces, that's when it's time to what? To make a move to the other side. That's just basic principles. That's basic understanding of what excess, right? As opposed to those who needing access, right? Again, it could be anything, right? So that's self-explanatory. You need no understanding within that. Just move under the gaze of that humanistic characteristic or the psychology behind that is that, again, that shows you how to stay balanced at the end of the day. Buy fear and sell euphoria. That means basically equals making money in the markets. All right. So there we ready, guys. I'm just saying, going into next year again, I see nothing but great opportunity for a lot of us. A lot of you guys who, and ladies too, of course, I don't just say guys, but who've been waiting to, either get into this or who's been studying behind the scenes because they follow along with us. We appreciate you guys, thus far in the game and being a part of our community here. This is all of ours in that perspective. We own it, because we all take privilege and honor and being able to help out our fellow brother, our fellow sister in arms in this perspective, because you need a village. You need a village in the market. Why? Because all eyes and ears and intellect on deck. Period. It helps, right? It helps tremendously.
I want to just say that 2021 has been great. My sneaker portfolio just hit 100K.
Look at that. Look at that.
So
right, I need some
that's
horns right now, but I need some sound effect. I'm working on that. I'm working on that 2022. I'm working on it. Shout out to Chris.
I didn't when I started doing it, I didn't know, I didn't really have any expectations, but luckily I learned some things from some people. Of course, you always over, but
Pay it forward. Pay it forward.
uh, $100,000 in a sneaker portfolio is crazy. It's crazy. There's people who got over 7-figure sneaker portfolios themselves. I mean, shoes is not the traditional asset that a stock or gold or anything like that is. But this is a new day and age where different things have more value than what you thought it was before. So,
collectibles matter.
Yeah,
that's a t-shirt moment because jokers don't realize within that. We just talked about early falls appreciating the asset. When you talked about that money Mayweather, you went on here at time, but we talked about Floyd Mayweather just went and bought a watch. I think over $100 million, something like that, some crazy number.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I see.
You probably seen it. Yeah, it's like okay, of course us, would have been like, man, look, I put that in some options, bro. I would turn that thing over by 1,000%, right? That 100 million be worth $1 billion right now, dang near. Right? I'm just short the spot, top peak the trough today, man. Look at him, cashed out. Took all the liquidity out the market, but crashed everything. But no, but y'all get it seriously. We understand the power within that. You appreciate the asset. So the collectible market is definitely on the rise. It was already on the scenes anyway, right? Think about rare art. Think about all these things that have been in place. Rarity and jewelry, whatever. They just had a different marketplace. So some of them are publicly traded through, by way of their, company or corporation or, handlers or holdings company. But now they're making it easier for the little man, meaning us, to be able to do or be a part of the space right now as well without having authentication license and appraisal license and all that stuff. It's already set in motion by the community. Make sense? They already have a governing checks and boards and balances out there already in play. You just got to learn, know where to go, where the rules of engagement and where they apply, and you can get right into the space like anybody else. Again, the idea that the NFTs right now are just going wickedly, people making tons of money in NFTs right now. Like children are making 6 figures in the NFT market right now. Children. And adults are walking around here like, man, look, all that investing stuff and all this stuff, man, I ain't got that time for all that. And we're going to hit this punch on this clock. Like, what? Like, what? Hey, kids, I just posted something on my page the other day. A 12-year-old girl, right? It's many of them out there, of course, but a 12-year-old little sister. She just sold some of her NTs, right? NTFs, right? She's an artist, and she made like $6 million thus far with her arts, her art. A 12-year-old.
That's tough.
A 12-year-old. Now, some of y'all older adults that think y'all got all the game, think y'all know it all, and think y'all, you got you got all your stuff down pat. Look at him. I hate to pour cold water on you, right? If you think you really balling like that, look at him. A 12-year-old. A 12-year-old little sister has made nearly $6 million with NFTs, and she's just getting started. That should scare you right there.
Hey, over the green across the board. It's blocked in.
It's not. Oh my bad. Yeah, let me move it. Thank you, Over. All right, thank you, Over. All right, let me hold up. Let me get this off. Blah 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 blah. Hold up. Okay, hold up. There we go. All right. Let me get all this stuff off. So right here, can y'all see my screen? Is it showing now? Sorry about that, guys. Thank you. A 12-year-old, a 12-year-old baby, essentially, right? 6 million, and she just getting started. So these are the moments where you say, man, what's your excuse, right? Because you're like, God, dog it, bro. Dang it, brother. Hard out here. It's hard out here for an old pimp. Right? No, it ain't. We just got to understand how money works. Right? We have to understand what are the new asset classes are going forward, because we just talked about collectibles, right? Oh, because we're talking about his sneaker connection eclipsing over 100K. And he just getting started too. See, that's what's scary. He's just getting started. And these opportunities here are just many other, aspects of the collectible, arena, because I was talking about this stuff. I've been following this stuff for years, like, literally, right? Because I come from that kind of great people, fine wine kind of way of thinking about certain items or whatever, right? I was always inquisitive about those things going back even when I was in grade school. So I follow all this stuff, a lot of throughout the years, and certain paintings and all this stuff, and who are the holding companies of like Sotheby's, of course. That was one I've been knowing for years, right? Even in the real estate game, whatever. And this stuff is like, man, this stuff is starting to come to fruition now. It's like, man, I need to get on my game. These jokers waking up at night, coming up with an idea in the middle of their sleep, having Tourette syndrome, calling out different things, and then next day get up and go make it happen. Then next thing you know, they're getting, a check cut. $6 million, and she just getting started. Little sister named Nyla Hayes, right? Long Neckers is inspired a new generation of girls, right? 12-year-old Nyla Hayes is already many things, including a student, artist, and yes, a millionaire entrepreneur. And yet, when you speak with Nyla, you don't get the feeling that her sudden success has gone to her head. Why? Because she's still thinking like an average day little 12-year-old kid that just think about her dreams of just wanting to be an artist. She don't care about all the other gaudy stuff. That stuff hadn't resonated with her yet. Her experience is just based upon creating art, right? And she's getting paid handsomely for it now through these NFTs, right? It would be certainly be easy to get carried away, right? After all, Hayes has already earned $5.7 million in Ether cryptocurrency. And we just talked about how Ether outperformed everybody this year. Ethereum outperformed every asset class dang near out there. It did. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say it almost. It outperformed every asset class in the market. Ethereum did. Right? So again, y'all know ERC20 guys. That's why I definitely love Ethereum. Right? So shout out to Ethereum, right? Proving again why it is what it is, because it handles a lot of that collectible space stuff in terms of the NFTs. We still think about the metaverse. The NFTs really kicked off the idea of how even the metaverse going to even be more lucrative, because that scarcity or rarity of art, digitalization art that will be used inside of the metaverse. These are the players, the ancillary players within it that's going to make up the metaverse. They have already solidified themselves and already in place. Right? Again, we're talking about a digital advertisement, Lamar, sign that you would see on the highway. It's going to be in the metaverse in the same way. Do these people making arts and having scarcity, you're the only person with it. So you get to get advertisement for it. Look, I go on for days. I'll be here for days. We'll talk about that show another time. But y'all get it. Right? So she already earned $5.7 million in Ethereum. So that means if she earned $5.7 million in Ethereum, what does that really say? That means that $5.7 million is really worth $57 million. Or possibly $570 million. Why? Because if she never sell it, it has the ability to continuously doing what? Appreciating. Ooh, let that marinate. Let that marinate. See, jokers don't want to deal with that. Jokers don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with that. Right? That's what this is all about. Money continues to make money while you making money. Jokers, man, look, all right, y'all better get y'all kids excited about this stuff early. This girl just 12 years old. Right? And y'all know people want what the kids want, because kids dictate a lot of spending habits from adults. Oh boy. She also recently created a collection for Time magazine as an artist in residence, portraying Time's 100 women of the year. So she already planning to that space. Look, use it, little sister. It's no wonder that we've named Hayes to the 2021 Future 50 Awards, right? That's a very prestigious, honor too, that Future 50 Awards, or Future 500, 50 Awards, excuse me, right? Which recognize the 50 most influential people in technology who are driving innovation. A 12-year-old driving innovation because she creates NFTs through her artwork. Tell me how collectibles are not, you may got a kid out there that loves art in some kind of form or fashion. You can get them into the NFT space. And by way of that, people, again, always going to praise the kids because they feel like these are future generation, builders anyway. They're going to get behind them. If you got the right people, driving it. Now, you could make this stuff up. Inspired by long necks of her favorite dinosaur. Look at that. Inspired by her long necks of her favorite dinosaur, which is the Brontosaurus, right? Nyla is known for her long necky portraits of women. So y'all know that stuff come out of what? African Asians, right? Y'all them tribal people that have the little bands of gold necklaces around their neck and they stretch their neck out, make it long. That's what long necklace is. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but sidebar history lesson, right? Fun fact, I should say. That's what long necklace is. So Africans and Asians, definitely part of that culture, right? It started when she was 9 years old. Right, long necklace stand for diversity. It meant to make people comfortable in their own skin and make young girls feel powerful about being what themselves. So as you see down here the pictures, see, y'all already see it, right? Y'all already see it. $5.7 million in drawing. This is a 12-year-old. 12-year-old getting top dollar for this. So, bro, y'all out there like right now, man. Let me get me a sketch pad or something, boy. Let me get me. I'm gonna do some short neck. I'm gonna do the inverse. I'm gonna do the short neck. The short neck. You gonna be all head and no shoulders. no neck.
What you saying? I'm drawing right now.
Already. See?
I'm drawing something right now.
Look at 5.7 million. Bro, I got a
Real
short
talk.
neck collection. What was that buddy
Good
that
stick
came out?
figures.
I remember that dude that had a little, what they call neck. He went to prison. They called him something long, short neck or something. It went viral. I remember that a while back. But that big old neck. They called. He was all over. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you need to make that. Boy, if you'd make that NFT, where you get paid. But this is that future generation of innovation value in terms of what collectibles, whatever. And it's all attributed to what we talked about earlier, right? Before some guys came on, we was talking about the blockchain, how valuable it is. It's still yet to get the recognition that it's going to get into the future. Why? Because it's going to be the information portal, or it's going to be the mechanical portal that most businesses are going to use to make their businesses more proficient. Because that's what the blockchain does. It eliminates waste, it eliminates non-transparency, and it helps improve efficiency of what? Use case value in the utilitarian tokens and also even ancillary aspects in terms of what it has to offer. That's the power of the blockchain, right? Protection of what? Of my IP, intellectual property. You are the master key holder of your currency, of your stake value or your collectible value. See, the banks don't have that, right? They use that by way of your what? Your social security number or your birth certificate number, right? Your QSIP number. They got too much control over you, even though they're telling you autonomous and you have sovereign rights. Well, guess what? In this space, you control all the rights of you through the value of your IP by way of a key. Just don't lose that key, of course. Don't lose that key, right? But that's it. You become a master. You own all your masters. Essentially, you own all your masters when you have that key. So Jive Records and Death Row Records, all that, whatever, they can't control you, right? So it's important. So hey, just something to think about. I'm just saying. So we talked about the NFT space several times. We know a lot of the players are already in this space. We already like the ones that are already connected to that of the what? To the metaverse. So the metaverse is the new wave. Hate, like, love it, indifferent to it. It's here. It's here, and it's going to, grow because Wall Street don't care about all that, what everybody else feeling about it. They saying, can we put a valuation on it? Oh, we can? Let's go. See, that's what we say, remove emotions away from the equation. You can make better executive decisions. Why? Because greed is the name of the game. Why? Because Wall Street loves what? Fear and greed. They like climbing the wall of worry, and they like how much money they can make within that when everybody else is being skeptical and greedy, fearful, or scared and fearful. They're going to find a way to monetize it. These people have no chill, right? They have no chill. So shout out to little sister Nyla Hayes, right? Already worth $5.7 million at a 12-year-old, right? She put her parents out. Y'all got to get out my house. Hold up, we'll pay the rent for you make that money. Y'all got to get out my house. I'm worth $5.7 million. Y'all just cut up. Her future's bright. You may have a child that may be into the space too, right? Who like collecting art, baseball cards, whatever the case, sneakers, again, Ober Chris can write a book probably in terms of his experiences already. right? And publish it and help other people move more into this space. And guess what? Oh, he can NFT it, find a way to NFT it from his perspective, own the digital keys to it. And now he can make that an online pipeline of just sharing people how to get into the game.
That's facts. Yep.
See? So this is already within the aspect, the scope of what we already are professing and moving towards. A lot of us, it's just about, again, having the confidence to step on out there. People do it every day when they make these entrepreneur executive decisions. I don't know why a lot of people are still thinking that, they're going to outpace growth, wealth, growth, whatever, by working their way through, through somebody else's dreams and hope through a job only. You need other irons in the fire. You need other aspects of knowledge to kind of embark on. You can't sit around being trivialized by things that keep your attention and distracted all the time as a way as escape mechanism. Growth do not happen through escape mechanism. You have to put in work. You want results, you have to put in work. Period. Facts. So that's what this is all about. You got to be willing to take some chances. And at least you have a lot of primary sources to help you make those executive decisions. So that's why we're excited about, the growth within this. So again, I don't care if you 1 year in, 1 month in, 3 years in, 5 years in, at some point, your moment is going to blow. Think about every artist that had a vision at some point. They probably didn't even get to the point of getting their recognition about 7 to 8 years in. Some people get it, right out the gate. It doesn't matter. As long as you stay with it, stick with it, it'll blow eventually, because you're getting more experience per every moment that you've had to deal with for as a variable. Make sense? So that's why we're excited about this stuff. So again, shout out to Nyla Hayes. Shout out to Oba Chris, explaining y'all how to make moves, right? How to people look at, maybe the sneaker game from the wrong perspective. So everybody that's standing in line to buy those shoes at Nike and sub-0 degree weather in Chicago, if they're not resellers, they're doing it the wrong way. Right? They're doing it the wrong way. They backwards hustling.
Yeah.
For a moment.
Real talk. Yeah.
So, because you can teach them, right? You can show them how to know, bro. Let me show you how to do this the right way. Let me show you how to do this from the comfort of your home and be dry, be warm, and learn how to use the online portal to the best of your ability. Make sense? See, it's a game for that. It's a lane for that. You see what I'm saying? The young kids out there, they don't understand, but that's a part of growth, right? They got to learn the hard way, right? Hard head make a soft behind, and the cold feet too. Cold back. Well, let that Chicago wind hit you across the back. You up there, Brandon?
Wait, man.
Man, there ain't no joke.
Let that wind come across the edge of that building.
Man,
tough, boy.
He said let it come across the edge of that building.
Boy, you can get somewhere. I'm out of here, bro. I can't do it.
Man, I drove past one of those Nike shops, man. The one downtown, man, it's crazy. There's so many people in line for some shoes. I was like, nah, not today.
The last one that just dropped, the patent leather breads, man.
We talked about that last week. Them Air Force One, wasn't it? Them bread. I'm not Air Force One, excuse me. The retro one, excuse me.
Yep, retro ones. Yep.
Patent leather.
I already knew it. I was like, man, this shoe about to be a problem for these. And lo and behold, you know what I'm saying, man, people are crazy, bro. So many people mad. They, parents mad they couldn't get their kids the shoes they wanted for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, you got to blame Nike for that.
Well, they said the shoe sold out before it even came out.
Well, they have a lot of late shipments on this shoe. So they didn't even get all their shipments in. Yep, supply chain issues. So that's causing a lot of problems too. So, it's still some opportunity to get them. But it's just it's not easy to get shoes no more, man. It's super hard. Like the footwork that you gotta do to, acquire these shoes, like it's not easy. Like you gotta spin, you gotta be plugged in with, certain sources and, kind of like how we got Reuters and CNBC and Market Watch and all these type of things. It's the same thing with this sneaker market. You got to be plugged in to the information to know what to do, where to go, what to buy. And then the shoes be gone. People we spend over here in different countries. They took some pictures, like in Israel, and China, and in Japan. All these shoes that sell out here instantly, they are sitting on shelves in these different countries. We are the only ones that do all this consuming. Yes.
See how that works?
Yeah. Yes.
if you find another way to backdoor that, see, that's what smart thing is. You find another way to backdoor that and go into the retail space over there and extract their product that they just got sitting because they don't understand the nature of the collectible item as it is over here in our country and culture. See, that's how you can backdoor opportunity. You got to start thinking. That's how an executive person thinks. That's how an entrepreneur thinks. How can I backdoor this and go through the side door and still come out with the prize? While everybody waiting on the conventional way. See, it's all about solving problems. And again, as you see here, the release date was just yesterday. The retail price have them set at $170, right? Look here. You already seeing the numbers already on here in terms of the markup.
Yep.
Through having them because of the supply chain issue, the scarcity, the rarity, the collectible item of it. Last sale $398.
Yeah, go to them bigger sizes.
Yep, I was just doing that earlier too. Look at that. Already over 4. Look at it. The 17 at $770.
Yeah, and this shoe gonna be at least $1,000 in a year. Easy.
I see that. I'll just say that's what they call the preliminary prices because they just dropped. As more and more of them, they're only gonna make so many of them like they always do. After that, you're gonna have to go into collector's mode. And so that means the premium prices of the appreciation of them gonna go up. That's the whole point of them being a collector's item, right? So yeah, see, again, you got a person right here you can get with. He can walk you all the way through it from start to finish and help you build you a collectible portfolio in the same breath.
Right.
Shoe already over like 400 plus, and it retailing at $170. So look, again, I always tell people, man, look, it's so many ways you can get to the bag, so many different ways, right? You just got to have that energy and don't give up on the situation, So if you follow this information, if you enjoy the conversation and content within that we putting out, this is just us doing like we're supposed to do. We're think tanking. We're figuring out ways, how to better our situation collectively as a unit. Ubuntu for a reason. We say that for a reason because it is all the eyes and ears and that. And so you see that people got different facets of growth, within their lanes and what they do, and their success is just it's spilling over. It's spilling over. It beats getting caught up in a conversation, it's going nowhere. Something that just trivialize and just take up your time and distract you from being able to make better decisions for your situation. So that's why I say these kind of level of communities are very needed. And so in 2022, if you've yet to kind of get with a brand or, when I say a brand, meaning a mindset, when I say a brand that more, is assimilated with what you're trying to do in life, then yeah, I think it's time to start making that assessment now. Do it now. Don't hesitate any longer because you can't, waiting for the time to be right ain't never gonna work out for you, right? It doesn't work that way. You just got to be comfortable knowing that this is what you want to do. Let your interests dictate your moves, and let the chips fall as they may, because the research is going to be there, because your interest is there, right?
Can I ask y'all a question?
Mm-hmm.
Any one of y'all play 2K or Madden?
Man, them games.
All the old Madden games.
2K or Madden. So they in the game they have this card game on both of them now. On Madden it's called Madden My Team Mutt, and then on 2K it's called it's called Madden Ultimate Team, and then on 2K it's called My Team, and it's basically like they've taken the card game and allowed people to buy digital versions of the trading cards, and you can actually like play with them. And they have like
the 2000 version that is over, or just the regular 2K one, right?
Well, 2K is the brand right now. They at 2K22.
Oh, 20, yeah, I'm gonna say because I know 22 is the newest one, but I thought you meant there's like 2000, like that.
It's the newest. Every year,
Gotcha.
They've been having this game out since about 2013 is when they started doing it. And what's interesting, if you ask me, they also have shoes in there too. Like we're talking about with these shoes, and these shoes go for different prices and everything too. And it's now come to the point where, because I sell these coins. I used to. I don't really do it as much anymore, but I used to sell the coins to other people, and they'll buy the coins for cash and then buy the cards so they can play with them in game, right? So I feel like they're gonna start doing NFTs for these games and allowing people to buy the trading cards with certain attributes, and they have certain abilities, et cetera, and they also have shoes, jerseys, all these type of things. And I feel like they're probably gonna try to go the NFT route because they've been doing that before anybody else was doing it. Like they're pretty much doing the same thing already.
You're 100% right. Just knowing that space is starting to really, again, we talked about that far as just like the ideal of like the old school game like Atari, Nintendo back in the day, like Mike Tyson Punch Out, like that stuff is now, again, when it hits that point of memorabilia, classic nature, there'll be things that people will seek to have just as a collector item because somebody will be willing to pay for it well into the future. Well, now they have a space where it could be authenticated, appraised, and also valued in a market where you don't have to feel like you gotta, having to go through, small collectors or just, black markets to find people. Like, it's already gonna be a marketplace for that. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes this stuff great. It's already a marketplace, already saturated for that. You got to show up with the goods. You got the goods. You got what? You got everything in play to make that happen. Right? So very, very important to realize that and think about it from that perspective. Right? So because again, that's going to be the next thing that gets people excited about what? Their old school collectible habits, whatever, is going to really transfer into them having, being able to put a really good appraisal number on their collections.
Oh wow, that's crazy! Right there, what you just brought up, they're basically saying something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they already doing it. Like honestly, before they were doing it, but it's not decentralized. It's controlled by them. But somebody is gonna jump out there and do it first, and they're gonna have to. Whoever do it first, everybody else gonna have to fall in line because they're gonna decentralize it, and that's gonna incentivize. Because what's happening with people when they buy these cards, every year they kind of got to buy a new card. Like they're coming out with these cards over and over again. They'll start off with cards that are rated maybe like in the 80s, and as the year progressed, they start dropping cards that are higher rated. And they've been doing this, and then people pay more. Like for right now, to get like a 96 LeBron, it's probably equivalent to like $60 for the digital card and be able to play with it. And he has like certain abilities. He's really good. So they're probably gonna, someone is gonna jump out there first and offer it on the blockchain and allow people to own these cards indefinitely. And they already have auctions built into the game and everything.
See, again, establishing that use case. That's all we work with. This stuff is like, to us, is like, okay, it's very basic. Is there a use case? Oh, it is? Okay, let's see if it can be monetized. Right? And the rabbit hole will lead you through all different portals and places where you can find it. Again, that's why I say Google is your best friend if you're an investor. Right? Google your best friend. And a lot of people don't even know how to use Google to their advantage. Right? So again, having the interest will lead you to different breadcrumbs, will lead to other breadcrumbs, which will lead you to some kind of form of what the loaf of bread in itself. From there, you can just dissect as you need to make the better decision that's going to help you figure out whether this is a monetizable scenario or whatever. Or you could be the first to strike that coin, so to speak. Right? You could be the first one to mint it, and be the purveyor of it. Right? How you think the people that came up with all these digital coins, for whatever value, right? And so it ain't hard, really, in a lot of ways, to really become a player in spaces if you just learn how to play within it. But taking that chance is something new, because I'm thinking myself, like, I got some NFT ideas already myself, right? Anything that you didn't patent, slogan, to a degree, or a trademark that some people know you by, you can find a way to NFT it. The same way people do with their art. It's the same thing. So you're seeing that's what's happening. What makes your idea any less, right? Because again, people looking for that aspect, it's a bartering system on a whole new different level. On a whole new different level. So yeah, all you need to do is just kind of keep striking the iron and seeing what comes from that foraging that sticks. And if it hits the marketplace where you can have, or at least have a marketplace where you can shop, again, stage it from, then yeah, you may have somebody come along and I like this. You know, I like this. I'll buy it. That's all you need. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, don't look, guys. If y'all got some ideas, y'all might want to look into it, right? Look into it. So as you see right here, the guy was already talking about it. You know, this guy here in the office, open market keeps breaking it down, but here it is, somebody already, you know, getting ahead, and he's trying to get ahead of this. Right? He did this video back on November the 15th or 14th before even Madden died. Right now, it's even more of a bigger scenario now because he have passed away, so they're gonna memorialize those games for the fact that, you know, he was that kind of, you know, figure, you know, in that space.
Yeah, they have coaches too, so you know he probably gonna have a coach card. And honestly, the people who play this hardcore, they spend about $2,000 on their team every year.
See, it's a market. It's a market. It's a market for you having, you know, what they call hobbies and interests and things of that nature. It's a market for that stuff now. Goes a long way from the day when I was coming up, when, you know, we used to have like the comic books, you know, in the plastic sleeves as collectors. All right, the old G.I. Joe toys that was collectors. Right, come a long way from that. Now it's so next level with it's like, man, bro, like anything could be monetized, right? For a scarcity, rarity, or just the fact that even if it get hyped up, it may not be that to what other people like. But if there's a buyer out there, that's all you need. Don't care about what a person think about it, what they think is, you know, it's this or that. All they need is to find someone who, you know, share that same kind of interest or vision, and the rest is history. Once it sells, it sells. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Don't give up, guys. You know, on your situation, on your scenario, man, allow this stuff to turn over for you. Right. Get out there and test the water. Because again, you know, right now, a 12-year-old, and there's other kids out there too. I got other articles on here where kids like 9 and 7 and 8 got NFTs. They're in the NFTs making money, $100,000 here and there. And so, man, I'm like, look, bro, you know, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. You know, so many ways you can make money is my point. Asset classes as a whole. We talk about these different asset classes for a reason. That way they stay relevant and on your mind. So you'll have something to look forward to. Once you see it evolve and coming to fruition, you can be like, yeah, we were talking about that. We talked about that already. You know, we already have an idea, you know, so we got plenty of lanes we can, again, utilize to get us from point A to point B in terms of the information of it, because we've already dealt with it. You know, so I mean, so on the countryside, so where my sisters out there that deal with the crystals, or the brothers that deal with the crystals, you know, at some point the country community gonna have to figure out how to monetize all that culture, right? We're there at that point where we got to start realizing how to, you know, apply, you know, executive decision with our cultural habits and hobbies that we like in a world where, you know, people already want, you know, that aspect of knowledge and understanding, is that it don't get mainstream type of attention to the point where it could be useful, but there's a market building for that stuff too, right? You know, so it's rarities. Anything that has knowledge behind it, or, you know, a story, you can probably NFT it, or at least get it to the point where people can get it, you know, start feeling excited about it. I'm like this right here. I found a sister that like the crystals. I got something for you, right? They're gonna be some of y'all wives out there right now.
Oh wow!
They're gonna be your boo, right? Little one gonna be like, do you really need more crystal? They're gonna be like, look here, I'm next level with it. I'm from the NFT in my mouth. I got that amethyst, I got that pyrite, I got some. I got that century, I got all that. Boy, joke around here putting diamonds and gold on teeth, but I'm finna take that level, but I got them crystals in my mouth. That way I'm always balanced. Boy, look at you already, boy, you got your chi on, your Tai Chi, you got the Kundalini, everything. You got it in your teeth. Joker, I ain't even ready for you.
You said I'm always balanced. That's hilarious.
Always balanced, bro. Got them crystals in my teeth and my toothes, right? Next level. Now find me somebody that probably ain't gonna try it. Somebody gonna try it, bro.
Oh, make that NFT right there.
Already. See? Somebody gonna do it. See? Joker's
Boy, that's tough.
Think about that.
They're gonna have straight amethyst on the bottom.
All amethyst across the bottom, right? A little citrine in the back corner, back there in the fangs, gonna be citrine. See, Joker ain't, but think about it. Look, all right. No, just saying. Because see, there's a market. There's always a market. Hobbies are now becoming, you know, again, man, great investment scapes now. And people starting to realize that the old school flea market Saturday thing is now becoming a whole different ball game.
All it's gonna take for Rihanna to drop some is over with.
Man, look at him. Let anybody name brand pull something off like this. They're gonna run to it. I've been in the crystal 30 years. See, they're gonna come out the woodwork. Right? Show up at the party and straight crystals all in the tea. Boy, I'm balanced, bro. Ain't nothing. Look at nothing y'all can do to stop my shine, my vibe, right? Vibes, right? Vibes, crystalled out. Right. So yeah, man, like I tell people, man, look, it's a market, man. It's a market for everything. There's a market for everything. And people yet to discover it. It just somebody got to be what? The pioneer or the trendsetter. Once that happens, the rest is history. Right? The rest is history. You know, so we ain't just talking, guys. We're definitely purveyors of, again, think tankers. That's what this is. It's a think tank session. You know, every time we come on, we're in a think tank session, excuse me. Simple as that. Right? You know, we have, you know, some fun moments in between it, but a lot of this stuff is like, okay, yeah, that's ideal worth looking into. That's investment worth probably looking into. That's a mindset worth, expanding on. That's, a good way to look at that. That's a different perspective. That's a good angle. That's a good entrepreneur, potential endeavor. That's what this is all about. That's what this, this whole community is all about. Right? Yeah, again, you heard what Sister Monica said in her story, right? She, again, living her best life now because a lot of stuff aligned itself at the proper time for her. She came into her moment where she was giving a lot of herself to a lot of things, a lot of other people, and she had needed time to focus on her. And it happened. When she started focusing time on her, guess what happened? Boo pop up. And he has a like-minded interest in her. Right? So out of a, I call it the beautiful catastrophe, right? I know I did a little song thing on that. She had a beautiful catastrophe moment. And now things are lining up, right? It's lining up. Right? Matter of fact, in honor of Sister Monica, let's roll some of that beautiful bean footage.
Everything is twofold. What's joy is pain on the other hand. And what happens when the one that you love is the main cause of your suffering? I need you like I need air to breathe. I need you to save me from me. I'm caught in your wave, I'm drifting away. I need you to save me. Please don't let me drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in. And I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. I'm drowning with all of this darkness surrounding. You need me like you need air to breathe. You want me to save you from me. I know that you're trapped inside this wave. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna save you from me? I can't see you drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in. And I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. beautiful catastrophe. It's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. I can't breathe. I need to get some air, but it's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. You can't breathe and you just need some air. Yeah. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, where the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die. But your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe.
All right, setting it in motion. Setting it in motion. Shout out to Sister Monica, right? Shout out to everybody else as well who believe in their situation, right? Who's figuring out how to balance themselves. In both worlds of being, what they call a society, pillar, and also working on their situation too. Because again, chaos is a moment where money is made, opportunities are being, forged and born, and assets are being acquired, right? Again, that's when the money is being made. So we say that in the same breath where a lot of people may be doubting, growth and opportunity through asset classes and hobbies and collectibles or whatever. You're starting to realize now that people are starting to get a bag from it. And all that time, you probably like, yeah, maybe, amen. Okay, people are starting to benefit. So it's not even up for discussion anymore now that the cat's out the bag. It's what you're going to do. What are you going to do now? Right? What's your next move, so to speak? All right. So that's what this is all about. And then that, you have just as much opportunity as a 12-year-old kid. A 12-year-old kid, so, keep marching. Don't give up and say that, every ideal is already taken. Because that's the thing that keeps a lot of people back. They'll say, well, somebody already invented it. So I guess I need to just, I can't do nothing now. And people keep innovating every day. People keep and there's a thing called market share. Just because one person got it don't mean other people can't make money in that space. Again, look at Burger King, look at McDonald's, look at Hardee's, look at Wendy's. How many burger joints out there? See how that work? Look at Shell Station, look at BP, right? Look at Exxon, right? Look at Speed Track and all that stuff. Quick Trip. Look, whatever. See? That don't mean you just shut down because other people in it. They just say, get in the game, get you some of it too. Get you some of that market share too. Right? There's a lot of money out there. They're still sitting in the sideline. Right? So that in itself lets you understand that you're not behind, right? Or you're not late. Right? It's just your time to come to the space, baby, because your knowledge, caught up with your interest level. And now you're starting to make moves. Right. So again, be it an investment cycle of asset classes, stocks, forex, crypto, whatever, the collectible side of things, real estate, etc. Entrepreneur endeavors, owning your own business, right? Drop shipping, whatever. It's all synonymous. Don't lose that focus. Realize that that's what's going to carry you into the year, this new year, quote unquote, by the Gregorian calendar, right? The Gregorian calendar tells you that New Year is tomorrow, right? But ultimately, y'all get it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? Shots fired at the Gregorian calendar, right? Right. But yeah, we're ready. Nonetheless, we're ready going into the next year, right? So go through, Google, do the usual shakedown, right? What the stocks are going to be, what are some of the stocks to watch in 2022? There's a lot of think tanks and quants out there that already put together data. And so they already got a list of stocks already in play based upon Fed's tapering, rate hikes, industry changes, cyclicality values, all that stuff is already in play. And these people got money, big money they spend on collecting all this data, and they ended up putting it out there for what? Investors, right? So you're not without sources. You're not without information, right? You don't have to do this yourself. You don't have to be the person who dig it up, polish it off, and then appraise it. There's people already out there doing that. You got to come right in and say, okay, what's going on here? Okay, okay, yeah, let's go. Or, let's not, right? Either way, information is already out there. Information is king. We are in the information age. Simple ignorance is not even an excuse as much as it used to be. Why? Because you have all this information ahead of you now where you can make better decisions, right? You don't have to play the rule that, you scared to, step out of, tradition. If information tells you different, then move on that new information. That's a part of growth, right? That's growth. Being able to accept that change is necessary, right? So I hope a lot of you guys who are new to this, take this bull by the horn again, utilize these asset classes, these markets to further endeavor in your goals, your dreams, your hopes, aspirations, whatever. You're never too old. Too, that's what's crazy. You're never too old. You're never too old, right? So you got value when you realize that. All right. So utilizing into the next year, 2022, we look forward to having you guys, again, in the midst of, our growth here as a community university. Again, support those who support you. So guys, if you got YouTube channels, post them out there. So let us support you on your side of your endeavors, right? Because this is our little tribes, right? Our little clans, our little hangouts. We want to make sure we support everybody who's willing to put in that work too, in that regard, right? Because y'all know this could be a far and few between place of hangout. Why? Because a lot of people don't, talk like a lot of us on average, right? Because we want to talk about this stuff. We want to offload this information to other people who may can understand it, or at least people who may have an interest and want to listen. So it's hard trying to explain this to, someone that don't really get it, a spouse or friends or whatever, and they just like, what was that? So yeah, it's good. We can come together and have our, our little moment, our soiree, right? We can speak our speech because we talk the language, right? We walk the language, right? And we know what it's like, right? So again, that's another thing that you should look forward to the next year, that you can share this with other people. So yeah, get excited for that, right? It only gets better with time is my point, right? Because next year we're going to do it bigger, right? Than we did in this year, right? And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? With inflation, without inflation, any of that, it don't matter. We're going to find a way to still get it in. Right. So on that note, we're going to hit you one more video and we're going to get on up out of here.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Ow! Yeah. Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground and the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big, that's the only way to live. Gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big. That's the only way to live. Come on. Yeah, come on.
Right, doing it big, right? 2022, let's go. Right, so this is our official 2022 watch party. You know, we get ready to get off in the lieu, right? So y'all go out there and enjoy yourself and your family, of course. But I did want to make sure I have, something going out with for the year. We've been diligent, this year, being able to kind of stay, focused and on based on course with what we're trying to profess here. Because again, we're just, purveyors of information, of opportunity, because again, we don't own the stock market, we don't own the forex market, we don't own the crypto market, we own parts of it through our investments, right? So that makes us a strategic partner in our ideas. And basically the information we put out for our primary source to help us make better decisions through our investments, right? So always keeping that in mind, guys. Y'all guys will realize that this is all love, right? Everything we do is all love, and it's all backed up by you being able to kind of fact check us, do the work behind us, so that way we know we always stay balanced, right? So again, I look forward to next year. I look forward to building with more family. I look forward to watching the family that we already have in play, soar to higher heights and continuously grow themselves, challenging themselves to do other things too with their skills. So again, as I say, kick the lid off in the next year, right? Kick that lid off, right? Remove that fear. Jump on out there, guys, right? Scared money don't make money, but make sure it's based upon some good due diligence and discipline before you jump out there with that money, right? And I think we'll be fine. Right. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna let the panel guys go through the last words for the panel before we get out of here for the new year. Well, the Gregorian calendar new year. Sidebar. Right. And we'll look forward to jumping on this thing and talking our same, talking our ish in the 2022, so to speak. Right. It don't change. Right. Just another day it does. All right. So last words to the panel guys. Any last words, family? Any last words on the way out the door? Any last words for the family here on the panel on the way out the door?
Nothing really. Just stay focused. It's still a grind. Make 2022 your best year. And just stay tuned.
Already, right? Again, what they call it, keep it short, simple, and sweet. Because look, ain't nothing changed besides what? Just a day for us.
Right.
Stock market gonna open up. Whenever it open up again, it's gonna be what? Same reality. Winners and losers, opportunity, no opportunity, laggers. So he's 100% right and exact. Stay focused. Keep it simple. Realize what you're here for, right? And the rest will work itself out. So shout out to you, Oprah Brandon. Happy Gregorian calendar New Year. I got to keep saying that now because I got to make sure I'm staying straight with the ancestors. I want the ancestors to come for me tonight. What you talking about the New Year? Well, we told you been there. All right, I'm sorry. My bad answer. No, I just cut it up. Hey, I got to make sure I stay balanced. So you already know tonight I'm going to have to go on and make it happen. I might be the first one to have to go on and do it tonight. I got to stay balanced, right? I got to put them stones up in there. Right? I got to put them rocks off in there. Just make sure I stay balanced going into the new year. Yeah, so last words going out to the Gregorian calendar over Chris.
What should I say? Just stay focused. Write your goals down. Accomplish them one by one. Do what you got to do to get where you need to be, and keep your feet and your head on them goals. I mean, it's another opportunity for you to, get ahead, to get your family in a better position, get yourself in a better position, and it starts with these markets. Ain't nothing changed. Same game.
Facts. So the wheel keeps churning, and it keeps turning. And we realize that too, because again, that's just a part of the nature of business. It don't stop. Money being made, whether you sleep or you woke, right? Whether you're goofing off or you serious, right? Simple as that. Better figure out how to get your portion of it too, right? Because trillions are moved around the world daily. How much are you getting, right? How much are you getting outside of someone telling you when you can get it? Let that marinate for a moment, right? That's what an entrepreneur, is all about. The idea that you are in control, you're in charge of that moment. Right. So that should empower you to want to be in that position. Because again, now you got a 12-year-old girl kicking in the teeth, right? She's an entrepreneur by the value of her art, and she already over 5.7 million. Goodness. All right. So let's go, guys. Let's get it. All right. So shout out. So over Crypto Kid, Brother Marquise in the last word, Savvy FX in the building. Last words coming out the end of the year. Right.
Yeah, definitely. New rotation, new year, new incarnation. I'm going by Savvy FX this year. with the brand Savvy Enterprise. You know, we got some big stuff that's gonna be coming this year. And you know, we treating this like it's a performance sport, and I think y'all, you know, should as well. You know, y'all, do you want to this a new season? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be going hard in the off season? You know what I'm saying? Working so that you come back and get that new contract. You know what I'm saying? Get that starting position, or you know, become that franchise player. You know, however you whatever level you on. Or you know, you just gonna do that 10-day contract and go back into the G League. You know, it's all on you. You know,
Facts.
at the end of the day, but it's just gonna take that discipline. You know, those rules that he spoke of earlier. You know, that Oba spoke of. That's important. You know, those rules and those commandments. You know, that's what's gonna keep you balanced. That's what's gonna help you falsify data. You know where we come
Facts.
from. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Amara Squad. You know what I'm saying? We got to have that methodology. And how else are you going to be able to falsify your data unless you have a system that you can identify where something is going wrong at?
Facts.
If you just getting out there, you know, just shooting, you know, from the hip, then you're not gonna, you know, find out where you fall short at, because you know you're kind of all over the place. So just make this be the year of dedication. Make this be the year where you wake up and do the same things that bring you success, and you cut out the stuff that is blocking your success. You know, so I just say
Facts.
everybody be safe tonight, man. Make sure y'all get home safe. You know, enjoy yourself, and make sure you get home and you refresh and you in the right mind to, you know, attack this market, because we tired of playing with this market. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
we got to get out here and make it happen. You know, we ain't the time and effort that we put in this. We have to make sure that it's fruitful. You know, and we're not producing waste. That we're actually producing something that the market can consume. You know. So I just say
All
peace,
facts.
power, profit to everybody on that. You know.
Speak your speech, Over. Speak your speech, right? Speak your speech. Like all the brothers on here tonight spoke their speech, and all the sisters as well that came on, and everybody that's, you know, that tunes in, that's a part of our community, our family. You know, on the YouTube side, the Twitter side, the Facebook side, everybody that comes through and hang out with us in the chat, because we're all power players in this game, right? This is not an echo chamber, so we don't just, you know, sit up high and speak low. Everybody in this chat, everybody that watches us, we're all peers in this. That's what's great about it, guys. Y'all gotta respect that and love that. We're all peers in this. We're equal, right? We're all searching for the same reality in terms of growth, and so that has a lot to say with, as they say, your tribe, right? You know, your vibe controls your tribe, right? Or the tribe controls the vibe. However you put it, we're all in this for the what? For growth, right? For betterment. You know, for you know, again, being able to put some away for a rainy day for our future generations and whomever. However, so it goes without saying that, again, find those environments that again, relate to your interest level, and then let go, right? Let go, because you don't have to worry about competitive value. You don't have to worry about none of that here. That's why we make it a very family oriented environment for a reason, because everybody hates to learn under all these unseen pressures, right? Nobody can even learn in that environment, right? So that's why we make this thing equal opportunity for everybody, because the markets are equal opportunity for everybody, right? So we all trying to get better at it. So he's right in his act. Oba Chris is right in his act. Oba Brandon is right in his act. Sister Monica, Sister Angie, everybody, right? Everybody that's on the backside of YouTube that's in right now. Brother Rich B, Oba Brother Mathis, Brother the Snotball, right? Our family, everything, right? Our sister Sharon, right? Everybody that came through, right? My family from Russia. I got somebody from Russia in the building, right? I can't even pronounce that, but I'm gonna say my family from Russia, right? Everybody, Sister Tamika in the building, Brother JXY EW, right? Neil, right? Our family Rashu, everybody that might have been listening, get a chance to type. You all well respected, and we appreciate you here, right? We hold you guys near and dear to us, because again, we realize that this is ours, right? This opportunity is ours, and we take full advantage of it, right? So again, shout out to everybody going out and coming into the quote unquote Gregorian New Year, right? The Gregorian calendar New Year. Be safe, like he said, be sound of mind and look to be prosperous, even more prosperous in 22 by actions, right? By actions, not faith alone, but by actions, right? We want to move on actions and knowledge, right? Because knowledge trumps belief, knowledge trumps hope, knowledge trumps luck, right? So that's important to realize that, right? So shout out to everybody. Be safe out there. So with that being said, guys, I wish y'all the best from my family to yours, right? We'll look forward to seeing you guys back in the trap, right? We back on the trap. Matter of fact, I'm on the trap round the clock. Why? Because the crypto market's still rolling right now. Right. So I'm gonna definitely get me some cryptos in play, throughout the weekend. And when the markets open up, in terms of equity markets open up Monday, we'll be right there, front center. Same for the Forex market, family out there too. Right. So everybody out there, I wish you guys the best, and stay hungry, stay happy, and stay humble, and make the next year just as better, as it was for us this year. Right. So vibes, guys, market mania vibes. I'm out. All right, guys. So that's it. So I see you guys again into the new, of course, Gregorian calendar new year, right? In a few hours here. Again, shout out to you all. My best to y'all. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next live stream. All right. Peace, everybody. Y'all enjoy yourself and stay safe. We'll see you on the next one. All right. Peace, family. Peace.